Chapter 201, Refining Overlord Blade. Hong! Overlord Blade flew into the sky and waved the long blade in his hand. A surging blade light slashed across the sky. Do you think that just because you've broken through to Legend Realm that you can find trouble with me? Overlord Blade hollered, infuriated. He didn't hold the Northern Region Lord in any regard and felt that he was just a piece of trash. If he was not from the royal family, the Northern Region Lord wouldn't even manage to get his daughter. Explosion! The Northern Region Lord didn't back down at all. He clenched his fists and his Dao turned into a giant bottle which he smashed forwards. Kaka! Instantly, the blade light collapsed and it was unable to block the hits of the great Dao treasure bottle. I will kill you today. Northern Region Lord said coldly. He was venting the hatred that he had suppressed for 10,000 years. His aura surged and his Dao spread around him. His hair started to fly around which made him look like both a god and a demon. The Northern Region Lord, who was always really polite and scholarly, showed off his strength at that moment. His aura made it tough for everyone in the city to breathe, especially his wife whose eyes opened were wide in disbelief. When did this piece of trash become so strong? In her heart, the Northern Region Lord was a coward and a piece of trash. But now, this coward and piece of trash actually wanted to kill her father. His aura was so strong and terrifying which petrified her. When Old Master Chen saw this, his pupils constricted. He found it weird how the Northern Region Lord had just entered Legend Realm but was able to control the powers of Legend Realm so quickly. As for fear, Old Master Chen had never felt such a feeling before. He had fought many battles in his life and most of which were life and death ones. He used his demon blade to slice off many heads. There were many of them who had stronger auras than him. But in the end, he was the victor. We haven't interacted in so many years. Let me teach you your final lesson in life. Initial Legend Realm isn't anything to be happy about. Old Master Chen hollered in rage and slashed his blade. Demonic energy surged out and turned into a dragon that lunged toward him. Kong! The blade energy transformed into the furious roar of a demon dragon. The dragon swept forwards from above, smashing aside the white clouds and splitting the wind. The strike was really terrifying and forced the Northern Region Lord back. He quickly flew towards one of the mountains. If they fought above the city, the people below would definitely be implicated. This was why the Northern Region Lord wanted to avoid all that and hide into the mountains. Kong! Old Master Chen's strike continued to chase him with its terrifying aura. Old Master Chen's ear-deafening laughter spread out. Didn't you say very loudly that you wanted to kill me? Then, why are you running? Old Master Chen hollered. The demon dragon swept forwards and covered the Northern Region Lord. They were now 1,000 miles away, so the Northern Region Lord was not afraid that the city would suffer. He stopped and looked around before saying coldly, I shall bury you here. The scenery here is so beautiful. Do you like the grave that I picked for you? You can save it for yourself. Old Master Chen viciously hacked forwards. The demon dragon opened its mouth and sharp blade energy flew out from it which sought to split the Northern Region Lord into two. Great Dao treasure bottle. Northern Region Lord didn't choose to dodge it but he faced it head-on. He formed a giant bottle in front of him which was made up of 13 colors, each representing the 13 different paths. He gathered all of them together to form an unbelievably beautiful sight. Hong! Great Dao treasure bottle directly smashed the demon blade and then followed by hitting the dragon on the head. The giant explosion caused the demon dragon to collapse. Demonic energy shook the entire sky and caused it to break down. Even Old Master Chen was forced back by the Great Dao treasure bottle. The blood in his body was agitated as he looked on in disbelief. How are you so strong when you've only just stepped into Legend Realm? Old Master Chen was astonished. You are the one who is too weak. 10,000 years have passed and you haven't improved much. You've just spent your time enjoying life. The demon blade has just been wasted in your hands. The Northern Region Lord scolded coldly. You actually dare to mock me? Old Master Chen stared at the Northern Region Lord in rage. That is just the truth. If speaking the truth means I am mocking you, then you might have to spend your entire life being mocked. The Northern Region Lord dissipated the Great Dao treasure bottle and spoke calmly. He had always been trying to improve and even if it resulted in problems with his personality, he continued to accumulate strength. 10,000 years of accumulation had come to fruition. The Northern Region Lord didn't dare to say that he was invincible but he was more than enough to kill Old Master Chen. I will kill you. Old Master Chen couldn't accept such humiliation, so he stepped forwards aggressively. He had totally lost it. His aura was like that of a giant mountain, which caused the surrounding mountain covered in snow to collapse. I have not taken this demon blade out for a long time and I am doing it for you today. You should feel proud to be killed by it. Old Master Chen gave up on his wide, long blade and took out a giant, broad blade. This blade was like a door and it was also a two-sided blade. It was 2 meters long and there was a circular handle in the middle. The front was sharp and the back end was a hacking blade. When he waved it, it looked like a windmill. This was the Overlord blade. A demon blade that had been passed down since ancient times. Old Master Chen didn't use it much though, as it was really demonic. If he used it for a long time, he would end up being overcome with endless rage. He would desire to kill others and would be unable to control himself. Old Master Chen hadn't improved much because he was unable to control the Overlord blade. But now, he was using it to kill the Northern Region Lord. Dang! Old Master Chen's aura exploded like a thunder cloud. His strength increased by 10 times and with a jump, he hacked down towards the Northern Region Lord. Great Dao Treasure Bottle. The Northern Region Lord's expression was solemn as he focused on his technique. A 19-colored bottle, representing the 19 paths, appeared and was injected in. He used it to block the attack. Kaka. There was a resounding crack and the Great Dao Treasure Bottle was shattered by the Overlord blade. It was unable to block the terrifying strength. Ha ha ha, as expected, your technique can't hold up against my blade. Old Master Chen laughed out loud in excitement. He spun the Overlord blade and stabbed forwards with the sharp part of it. The Northern Region Lord's eyes were like lightning as he stared at Old Master Chen's actions. He glided to the side and there was still scattered shrapnel from the Great Dao Treasure Bottle around him. My Great Dao Treasure Bottle can't beat your Overlord blade, but that is because of the strength of the weapon and not your own ability. The Northern Region Lord was really cold and calm. This time, he didn't fight head-on with the blade. The shattered Great Dao Treasure Bottle turned into a hidden weapon which the Northern Region Lord shot forwards at Old Master Chen. Dong! The Overlord blade was unable to block so much shrapnel. Those who passed the blade all turned into many Great Dao Treasure Bottles. The bottle opened up and swallowed Old Master Chen. The Overlord blade lost its master and fell from mid-air. The Northern Region Lord sat there, true chi wrapped around his body as he controlled the Great Dao Treasure Bottle to refine Old Master Chen. Chapter 202, Another Familiar Person. The Great Dao Treasure Bottle sucked Old Master Chen in, catching him totally off guard. It was already shattered, but the broken bottle could heal itself? Dong! 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 A shaking sound spread out from within the bottle. Old Master Chen was trying his best to charge forward. But the Northern Region Lord definitely wouldn't give him the chance. He sat in midair and numerous Dao paths flew towards the Great Dao Treasure Bottle, adding layers to it. Wang! 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 Great Dao Treasure Bottle was trembling and it rung like a bell. The Dao energy circled around and helped to refine Old Master Chen. Let me out! Old Master Chen hollered in rage. He grumbled and struggled but to no avail. The Northern Region Lord said calmly, I forgot to tell you that my Great Dao Treasure Bottle can refine you and absorb your essence to replenish itself. The techniques of the heavens will always be able to make up for the weak parts. Old Master Chen exclaimed, you are eating other humans. No, I just need your energy and your comprehension. Your body is so ugly and weak, I can't bear to eat it, the Northern Region Lord said calmly. Ah! Old Master Chen cried out once more as the energy in the Great Dao Treasure Bottle started to dissect his body. Let me out, son-in-law, Old Master Chen begged. It was all right if he didn't mention that, but the moment he did, the Northern Region Lord's face became green. A terrifying aura covered the bottle. Die! No! Old Master Chen shouted in shock, but it was no use. Hong! Numerous flames appeared in the Great Dao Treasure Bottle. These were the flames of the Dao and they were burning Old Master Chen. The flames were like phoenixes flying in the sky. If they were angry they could burn anything in the world. Old Master Chen's body was unable to hold on and he began to melt. No bones or meat remained. Only when the Northern Region Lord saw it did he heave a sigh of relief. He knew that his choice was right. He gave up on slaying the heavens and cultivated the Great Dao Treasure Bottle, the pros of which were easily seen. The Great Dao Treasure Bottle was very suitable for him. After killing Old Master Chen, Great Dao Treasure Bottle didn't dissipate. It slowly merged into the Northern Region Lord's body and started to nourish every part of his body. Old Master Chen's energy allowed the Northern Region Lord's cultivation to improve greatly. This was also an advantage of the Great Dao Treasure Bottle. Once one formed the Great Dao Treasure Bottle, their cultivation would be able to soar. After killing Old Master Chen, the Northern Region Lord had the time to look around. Snow fell on the surrounding mountains. The branches pointed up towards the skies as the plants tried to straighten their backs and loosen the snow on them. Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo! Due to the avalanche caused by the battle, the cold wind blew and swept up large batches of snow and scattered it into the sky. These scenes were extremely beautiful. The Northern Region Lord looked at the Overlord blade. After losing Old Master Chen's control, the blade was still shaking in mid-air, as it didn't have any more ability and the Northern Region Lord was easily able to control it. This is a good treasure. It's an ancient demon weapon, but unfortunately, Old Master Chen didn't know how to solve the mysteries hidden within. He only knew how to reply to the legacy and reach Legend Realm. The Northern Region Lord had no reason to give up on this. Although he didn't need it and didn't want to cultivate the technique, he could exchange it for some other things. The thing that I asked someone to look for should be found. The Northern Region Lord said. He didn't care about the mountains and snow around and rushed back to his villa. After killing Old Master Chen, his wife had no more backing. Everyone knew about her relationship with the Northern Region Lord and that there was no love at all. The Northern Region Lord didn't even need to deal with her as some people would quickly get rid of her by themselves. The Northern Region Lord, who returned to the villa, didn't hesitate at all and wrote a letter of divorce and asked someone to send it over. In the past, he had been worried about Old Master Chen, so he just treated her coldly. But now that Old Master Chen had been killed, he had to write the letter of divorce. After writing it, he also wrote a letter of resignation to be passed to Emperor Tiankai, giving up his position. The Northern Region Lord decided to disregard mortal matters. He wouldn't concern himself with anything but the Dao and he would also chase her. After completing all those matters, the Northern Region Lord felt really relaxed. He had removed all the shackles from his body. The Northern Region Lord stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the night sky while he asked, "Have you found what I told you to find?" Behind him was his butler. "Sir, I found it." The Northern Region Lord was surprised. "Where is it?" "Here." The butler passed a red watch and said respectfully. "Where did you get it from?" The Northern Region Lord looked at the red watch and asked. "A poor kid got it and we found him and exchanged the watch for a few treasures." The butler said. "You didn't force him to sell it, right?" The Northern Region Lord asked in a solemn tone. "No, that kid was really arrogant and showed it off to everyone. He said that there was a voice from within and he said that he had found a treasure and was going to get rich." The butler shook his head. Then, the Northern Region Lord continued to ask. He was worried whether the watch had been obtained through despicable means. If that was the case, then if Li Xiandao was unhappy, he wouldn't be able to explain himself. "I went and spent 10,000 God source to purchase it. After he got the God source he ran." The butler spoke the truth. "Okay, you have done well. If that is the case and he was willing to sell it, then everything is okay. If he was unwilling, then it will be useless even if I have this." The Northern Region Lord nodded his head in satisfaction. "Thank you, Lord, for your praises." The butler smiled. "You can leave. In the future, this villa belongs to you." The Northern Region Lord waved his hand and said. The butler was stunned and thought that this was the Lord's gift to him, so he said emotionally, "Thank you, Lord." Deep in the night, the Northern Region Lord looked at the red watch and smiled. "I have nothing restraining me anymore. I shall work hard to chase someone, to climb a mountain." Kaka. The Northern Region Lord shattered the watch and his body started to fade. He was familiar now and didn't panic at all. In the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao had just returned from the Legacy Hall. He had died over a dozen times today. But he had gained a lot. Li Xiandao had improved again. From dying dozens of times to only dying just over 10 times. After a while he could even start to kill them. In Legend Realm, Li Xiandao could proudly say that he would be able to suppress them all soon. Just as Li Xiandao was about to bathe, Seven walked over. "Master, there is a guest." "Is it an acquaintance again?" Li Xiandao joked. "Yes." Seven nodded. "Is it really?" Li Xiandao was really curious. He had just arrived in Eternal Land, so how were there so many acquaintances? Seven smiled and didn't say anything. Chapter 203, signing contract. Li Xiandao washed up and changed into some clean clothes. He was wearing his mask when he walked into the trading hall. The moment he sat down he saw someone who entered like he was really familiar with the place. Northern Region Lord. Li Xiandao was surprised. Why was he here? Greetings, sir. The Northern Region Lord respectfully cupped his fists as he greeted Li Xiandao. Even after his cultivation reached Legend Realm, he didn't dare to behave arrogantly in front of Li Xiandao. Li Xiandao said curiously, "My Bank of the Universe's watch found you." The Northern Region Lord shook his head and described the process of how he got the watch. Li Xiandao listened and nodded his head. Since the watch was able to find that person could, it means that there is something special about him. But since he chose your 10,000 God source, then so be it. The Northern Region Lord said, "I have 10,000 God source, and if he doesn't brag about it and slowly cultivates, he will have a good future." Li Xiandao nodded and disregarded that person. Since he had sold the watch, this meant that he had no affinity with the Bank of the Universe. He looked at the Northern Region Lord and asked, "This is the third time you've been here and this is the second time you are trading, so what do you want?" The Northern Region Lord's eyes lit up. He thought about it and pieced his sentences together, "I want to follow you and see the mysteries of the world." Li Xiandao blinked. Had he heard incorrectly? Seven looked at the Northern Region Lord in surprise too. This was the first person who wanted to follow Li Xiandao. Also, he had entered using the watch in exchange for that condition. Li Xiandao couldn't help but sit up straight. Was he so charming that people would automatically choose to become his subordinate? Why? Li Xiandao asked for the reason. "It's because you are so strong and mysterious. I really respect and look up to you. I have spent my life without a goal and only after I met you did I find my goal. I am willing to follow you and you will be my shining light and teacher of my life." The Northern Region Lord said. The key was that he was really solemn when he said it. It didn't feel like he was just trying to suck up to Li Xiandao. It gave Li Xiandao a feeling that he was really that good. Li Xiandao coughed and said seriously, "I won't easily take in subordinates. I am already at Legend Realm Stage 10 and will continue to rise quickly. Give me some time and I will definitely reach peak Legend Realm." The Northern Region Lord added. Li Xiandao thought about it, peak Legend. Currently, none of his men were at that realm. My subordinates need to listen to my orders. Even if I ask him to die, he has to die. Li Xiandao added. "Don't worry, sir, I have lived for 10,000 years and have accepted everything. If I can follow Master, then I will die without regrets." The Northern Region Lord said firmly. Li Xiandao added, "You must prove yourself if you want to be my subordinate." "Master, I have an ancient demon blade. It is called Overlord Blade and in it contains the secrets of an ancient power. I hope that Master can take me in." The Northern Region Lord took out the Overlord Blade and said sincerely. Li Xiandao really didn't know what to say. Cultivation, loyalty and a gift had all been prepared. Such a good subordinate was just so rare and hard to find. For Li Xiandao to accept him, he gave Li Xiandao the Overlord Blade. This was something that Li Xiandao hadn't experienced until now. "Okay, then sign the contract." Li Xiandao slapped the table and said firmly. Seven took the contract over and passed it to Li Xiandao. "Take a look at it. This is a lifetime contract and once you sign it, you will be my subordinate for the rest of your life. Unless you die, you have to listen to my orders." Li Xiandao said calmly. "I don't need to look at it. I'll sign it." The Northern Region Lord didn't hesitate and just signed it. This attitude stunned Li Xiandao. Was he just so charming? The Northern Region Lord signed it just like that and asked, "Master, is there anything I need to sign?" Li Xiandao shook his head and said, "From now onwards, you are under me. Cut off everything from the path and just cultivate in the Bank of the Universe." The Northern Region Lord was delighted and asked, "Then, may I ask where Chu Bai is?" Li Xiandao, who was keeping the contract, was stunned. Seven was stunned too. Both of them looked at him in disbelief. "You acquired the watch so you could enter the Bank of the Universe and handed your Overlord Blade to me all because of Chu Bai?" Li Xiandao asked in astonishment. He thought that it was his own charisma that made the Northern Region Lord yield. But now, it seemed like that was not the case. "Yes." The Northern Region Lord nodded his head firmly. He had come to the Bank of the Universe because of the Northern Region Lord. Because of Chu Bai, he chose to sign the contract. Li Xiandao's face turned black. Then, what had he even been saying just now? It had made Li Xiandao think that he was really charming and charismatic. 7 smiled, Chu Bai should be in the 10,000 country book depository and you can go see her. There are many books there and you should like it. Raise your strength and help Master do more things. Maybe then Master will consider letting the two of you spend more time together. The Northern Region Lord was delighted. After bowing, he headed towards the 10,000 country book depository. After he left, Li Xiandao looked at 7, this fellow is paying such a high price. He is willing to become my subordinate just because of Chu Bai. 7 glanced at Li Xiandao, isn't this love? So touching. The Northern Region Lord is willing to sell himself to you because of his earliest memory. He is such a sucker for love. 7 was touched. Li Xiandao quietly kept the contract and passed it to 7, that would depend on whether or not Chu Bai is willing. If she is not, then no matter what he does, won't it be a waste? This will also depend on his skill. If he is able to get her, then his sacrifice will be worth it. 7 muttered. Right, then let's see what he does. I shall study this blade. Li Xiandao carried the blade and left the trading hall. 7 looked at the 10,000 country book depository and cheered, good luck. In the 10,000 country book depository, Li Xiandao's subordinates were all reading. Heavenheart looked at the scrolls that the ancient demon and the Buddha left. Lucifer was looking at the development of cultivation, so he could combine it with his own cultivation techniques and improve himself. Moon Angel was immersed in some Moon Palace legends. Tian Guangming hid in a corner and was reading something called a cultivation technique that a man must know. With such a title, the contents described an ancient body cultivation technique that was suitable for Tian Guangming. Numerous book spirits jumped around and lived happily in the 10,000 country book depository. The Northern Region Lord pushed the door open and walked in. He was welcomed with the gazes of many people. Tian Guangming placed the book down and muttered, is there a newcomer? It should be a new partner. Heavenheart glanced and said. Isn't that the Northern Region Lord? Lucifer frowned. Where is Chu Bai? Moon Angel's cold eyes lit up and looked at Chu Bai. Just like that, everyone looked towards Chu Bai. All of their eyes were shining bright. Even Heavenheart placed down the Buddhist scripture in his hands and looked at her with a friendly smile. He was wondering what interesting things were going to happen next. Chapter 204, Swallowing Dragon Vein, Invincible. Within the 10,000 country book depository, as the Northern Region Lord entered and everyone was looking at him he saw Chu Bai. Chu Bai also saw the Northern Region Lord. She was stunned and totally confused, why are you here? Shua shua shua. The rest of them tried not to blink. They opened their ears and listened on intently. From now onwards, I am Master's subordinate, the same as you. Let me introduce myself, my name is Gong Yu. The Northern Region Lord looked at Chu Bai and introduced himself. Chu Bai blinked and hugged a book. Who knew what she was feeling inside? Suddenly, an extremely familiar person had appeared in front of her. Everyone present knew the reason why he was here. Truthfully, Chu Bai was panicking a little. I am just a clone, an independent person, I have nothing to do with Ling Ren. Chu Bai carefully explained. I know, which is why I gave up the past too. I am starting from scratch, there is no more Northern Region Lord and there is only Gong Yu. This is my name. Gong Yu nodded his head and introduced himself. Are you serious? Chu Bai looked at Gong Yu solemnly. I have already signed the contract and will be restricted for life. Gong Yu smiled. Chu Bai pursed her lips and didn't know what to say. She felt really conflicted deep down. The expressions of the people eavesdropping were all different. Tian Guangming stepped out and slapped Gong Yu's shoulder. Brother, let me introduce myself. I am Master's favorite subordinate. Call me Big Brother Tian Guangming. In the future, I will take care of you. Gong Yu saw that Tian Guangming was not even stronger than him and he calmly smiled and shouted, Big Brother Tian Guangming. Good brother, I will help you with Chu Bai. Tian Guangming was delighted and said in satisfaction. Chu Bai looked at Tian Guangming helplessly. Come, let us welcome Brother Gong Yu to our Bank of the Universe. Heavenheart saw the awkward situation, clapped his hands, and tried to save the atmosphere. Welcome, welcome. The other people all clapped and walked over. Moon Angel hugged Chu Bai and muttered softly about something. Gong Yu was filled with gratitude, thank you seniors for your welcome. After saying all that, Gong Yu looked at Chu Bai. After Chu Bai muttered some words to Moon Angel, her face turned red, and then she looked at Gong Yu, welcome. In the future, you will work hard for master. Gong Yu was delighted. It was all good since Chu Bai welcomed him. In the future, he would have a chance to save her. As long as Chu Bai didn't hate him, then everything was fine. Okay, all of you stop gathering together. The book spirits are all looking at us. Chu Bai's face turned red and he pointed at the book spirits who were all curiously staring at them. Tian Guangming walked swiftly back to his spot and slowly flipped through his book. The other people did the same and all of them just silently did their own things. Chu Bai said to Gong Yu, there are many books here and they should be of great help to you. Cultivate well, raise your strength, and help master. Gong Yu nodded his head firmly and said, I will. Chu Bai heaved a sigh of relief and smiled, since we are meeting for the first time, then call me Chu Bai. Gong Yu was stunned and smiled happily, my name is Gong Yu. Gong Yu was the Northern Region Lord's real name but very few people knew it. He had been named the Crown Prince from a young age and after marrying he became a duke and then he was given the title of Northern Region Lord. He had only ever told his real name to a few people. Now, he had tossed aside all burdens and went back to using his old name. Gong Yu was actually quite happy about it. In the Bank of the Universe's treasury, Li Xiandao looked at the Feather Transformation God Dynasty's 30,000-year-old dragon vein. The huge dragon vein was sealed in a jade box and placed in storage. The treasury was huge but a large portion of it was white and blue. Li Xiandao could only see the items in a 100-meter range. Anything more than that was covered in white. Rack after rack of items were placed there and each of them could store 20 items. Li Xiandao stood with his arms behind his back and walked past many of them. He saw the jade box that had the Feather Transformation God Dynasty's dragon vein in it. He picked it up and took a look. After confirming that it was the right one, he turned around and left the treasury. He came for this. Now that he had gotten it, he was going to leave. My Dao comprehension is deep enough. What I need to strengthen is my cultivation. Li Xiandao decided to step past the 33 stages at once. He brought the jade box and came to the Legacy Hall. Here, Li Xiandao met War God Zhao Wuji. Didn't you say that you wanted to comprehend the Dao? Zhao Wuji frowned and asked. In a frenzy, Li Xiandao absorbed all his knowledge over the past few days. This was a bit too much for Zhao Wuji. The same moves and same Dao attainments were useless against Li Xiandao. Each time he killed Li Xiandao, he had to change to a different one. The rate at which Li Xiandao was learning terrified Zhao Wuji such that he continued to comprehend the Dao instead of sleeping. This made him feel really helpless. Big brother, I am already dead, stop forcing me like this. But these words were said in private. On the surface, he still acted really coldly and kept his demeanor as an expert. He would go all out each time and when he killed Li Xiandao, he would show no mercy. Anyway, Li Xiandao wouldn't die either. Li Xiandao smiled, I came because I hoped that you could raise your cultivation to Legend Realm Stage 33 to fight with me. You can't win against me. Zhao Wuji said calmly. I can because I consumed a huge replenishment pill. Li Xiandao was playing with an empty box. When he walked over, he had swallowed the dragon vein which was why Li Xiandao's body was brimming with energy. Clang! The moment he said this Li Xiandao pulled out his sword, flashed, and stabbed towards Zhao Wuji's heart. This sword was unbelievably fast. Li Xiandao also teleported. His strength was much more terrifying than usual. Zhao Wuji's face turned dark. He shook his spear and a giant pear flower appeared to block Li Xiandao's sword. This move is useless against me. Li Xiandao's sword was like a snake, going past the pear flower and accurately striking Zhao Wuji's heart. Zhao Wuji's body shook and his soul body became a little dimmer as he looked at Li Xiandao in disbelief. How did you become so strong? Zhao Wuji said in disbelief. When he met Li Xiandao, he was at around Legend Realm Stage 9, but now he was extremely close to Stage 33. Terrifying. Li Xiandao smiled but didn't say a word. He had swallowed a dragon vein that a god dynasty nurtured for 30,000 years, so how could his improvement not be quick? I have learned everything from you, so I am going to find Sword God. Li Xiandao walked up. Zhao Wuji pouted and after Li Xiandao left, he scolded, perverted. In just a moment, Sword God saw that his body was covered in Li Xiandao's sword energy. He cursed, perverted. Li Xiandao forcefully dragged the priest out to fight. After they fought, the priest said in despair, take a blade and kill me. Stupid! You are already dead. Li Xiandao said expressionlessly and went to find Zhong Baishan right away. In just another short moment, Zhong Baishan looked at Li Xiandao in despair, you are already too strong. We have nothing more to teach you. Chapter 205, Special Mission. After swallowing the feather transformation god dynasty's 30,000-year-old dragon vein, Li Xiandao's cultivation soared and reached an unbelievable level. The dragon vein of a 30,000-year-old god dynasty which had been worshipped and nurtured by hundreds of millions of civilians was a huge replenishment for Li Xiandao. After he swallowed it, he started to find Zhao Wuji, sword god, the priest, and Zhong Baishan to train his strength. The explosive strength that the dragon vein brought him started to stabilize. When Li Xiandao left the legacy hall, the four people on the mountain top were all cheering because they knew that Li Xiandao wouldn't be returning for a while. How could the four of them not be happy? Every day they were able to escape torture from Li Xiandao was a good day. To all of them, Li Xiandao was a pervert, a true lunatic. His comprehension and cultivating speed were just overpowered. He was a lunatic because although he wouldn't die, he was able to feel that pain. Li Xiandao had been killed dozens of times at once but still continued to learn. That was just too insane. Luckily, Li Xiandao's cultivation soared, so they could all rest now. They were already dead but they couldn't have peace, which made all of them feel helpless. In the trading hall, Li Xiandao heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally raised his strength. I should cultivate one more sword technique. Li Xiandao thought about it. He felt that he had to take a look at the 10,000 country book depository. He hadn't been inside for a long time. But Li Xiandao recalled that his subordinates were all in there and that if he went in, they would all be nervous. It is best that I don't interrupt them, I should just try to stabilize my realm alone. Li Xiandao sighed. He felt that there were just too few good bosses like himself. Master, a new guest is here. A weak message spread into Li Xiandao's mind, stunning him. Normally, such information would be picked up by Seven and she would inform Li Xiandao. It is that watch. Li Xiandao thought about the red watch that he had given special instructions to. It was able to bypass Seven and send messages to him. Bring it in. Li Xiandao said right away with surprise in his eyes. Master, he can't enter. The watch hesitated and sent the message. Li Xiandao was stunned and asked, what is going on? To help Master find a suitable customer, I left Eternal Land and came to ancient Buddha Land. The watch's signal was still very weak. They were a world away from each other, so the signal was a little unstable. Li Xiandao was shocked, why did you go to ancient Buddha Land? Was there no suitable guests in Eternal Land? I don't know, I was just searching for guests and fell into a void whirlpool which led me to ancient Buddha Land. The watch felt really wronged and he really didn't know how he had ended up in ancient Buddha Land. Li Xiandao said helplessly, then, tell me about the customer. The watch sent the information, the customer is a kid around 10 years old. His family has several famous god spirit vein mines. His parents have been mining them and that is why their family is really rich. But a while ago, his parents were killed and the family was slaughtered. I found him and helped him escape death. Li Xiandao asked, although his family was killed, does he still have god spirit meridians? Li Xiandao needed 300 god spirit meridians. This wasn't charity. It was sad that the kid's family had been killed, but he had to work hard to take revenge. Without god spirit meridians, Li Xiandao wouldn't do the trade. Yes, his parents left him some treasure, including 10,000 god spirit meridians. The watch sent the message. Li Xiandao's expression changed and he said right away, let the kid hide. We will do this deal. I will send people over. Okay, I shall wait for Master. The watch ended the transmission. Within the trading hall, Li Xiandao stood with his arms behind his back. 10,000 god spirit meridians was a giant sum. If I can get these 10,000 god spirit meridians, I can redeem Seven's garden. I can also unlock a mountain. Li Xiandao thought about it. This kid was his and no one could think about hurting him. But I can't announce it and I have to give Seven a surprise. Li Xiandao thought about it. Tian Guangming, come. Li Xiandao thought about someone and transmitted his voice. Tian Guangming, who had just finished his book in the 10,000 country book depository, was shocked. What had he heard? Master was sending a message to him right away. He was calling him over. Why? Tian Guangming felt really emotional. Was he going to be asked to go to a casting couch? Should I accept or decline it? Tian Guangming hesitated and headed out of the 10,000 country book depository right away. As he watched Tian Guangming leave, Lucifer asked curiously, why is he so excited? He might be going to pee. The old priest guessed. Why does he seem so happy? Heavenheart frowned. Did he not totally remove the effects of the goddess of light? Moon Angel Yuzuna guessed. The other people looked at each other. When they thought about how Tian Guangming could suddenly behave like a sissy, they felt extremely disgusted. Tian Guangming rushed over to the trading hall and coughed at the door. He calmed himself down before walking in. Li Xiandao was inside by the window, looking at the mountains outside. Master, are you looking for me? Tian Guangming asked respectfully. Li Xiandao didn't even turn his head. I want you to do a special mission. Tian Guangming looked at Li Xiandao in surprise and raised his chest. Don't worry, Master. I will complete the mission. Special mission. Master had so many subordinates under him but only he had been called. What did that mean? This meant that Master trusted him the most. Could Tian Guangming not feel excited about that? Even if he risked his life he had to complete it perfectly. To say the truth, I don't want you to go since you are too weak. Li Xiandao sighed. Master, my cultivation now might be low but I learned a lot in the 10,000 country book depository. In just a few days, I will definitely break through to Legend Realm. I have the God of Light divinity, the Son of Light, I will definitely be able to do it. Tian Guangming patted his chest and promised. He definitely couldn't mess this up. Okay, then I shall believe you once. Li Xiandao turned around and faced Tian Guangming with his dark mask. Don't worry Master, I will definitely complete this mission. Tian Guangming said firmly. Leave the Bank of the Universe and head to ancient Buddha land. I will let you sense a watch. It is with a kid, so protect that kid and bring him back. Li Xiandao said calmly. Master, even if I give up my life, I will bring the kid back. Tian Guangming said firmly. Okay, I believe you. Go. Don't tell anyone about this. Li Xiandao nodded his head and said gently. Okay, I shall leave now. Tian Guangming turned around and left right away. Chapter 206, Entering Ancient Buddha Land. Li Xiandao looked on as Tian Guangming left. He didn't expect that he would come into contact with ancient Buddha land so quickly. This kid is mine and no one can stop me. Li Xiandao said firmly. To enter ancient Buddha land from eternal land, it was different from entering Dali land from ancient desolate land. They didn't need to create teleportation formations as these worlds were connected. Although there was a world barrier, as long as one was at Transcendent Realm, one would be able to cross it and head to and fro. Ancient Buddha land and eternal land were connected but they didn't usually communicate with one another. Most of the people in ancient Buddha land, like the name suggested, were Buddhists. The Buddhists wanted to spread their faith and not all of the people were Buddhists, yet so how would they enter eternal land to spread their faith? In truth, ancient Buddha land's ranking was in front of eternal land and they were a little stronger than eternal land, which was why they wouldn't come to eternal land. Tian Guangming had to pass through the world barrier to enter ancient Buddha land. He was alone. He crossed mountains and rivers while cultivating. After 10 full days, he was finally in front of the world barrier. Tian Guangming didn't rest at all during these 10 days and kept on rushing, but eternal land was just too huge. Luckily, he managed to arrive in front of the world barrier. The mirror-like world barrier was really firm and only Transcendent Realm people could shatter it. Even if a hole was opened up, it would recover in just a few seconds. There was totally no one around the barrier. Tian Guangming punched. Kaka. The barrier shattered and there was just enough space for Tian Guangming to enter. Tian Guangming stepped in and felt a spiritual energy surge towards his face. There were bits of annoying scents mixed within this spiritual energy. The smell of monks. After spending so much time with Heaven Heart, Tian Guangming knew right away from the smell that these were Dao attainments of monks. This world is really suitable for monks. There are Dao attainments even in the spiritual energy. Tian Guangming muttered and then closed his eyes. He started to try to sense where the only watch in this world was. Ancient Buddha land and eternal land weren't much different from the bit of Dao attainment. The mountains were still mountains, the rivers were still rivers, and the scenery was still scenery. To Tian Guangming, all of this was the same and there was nothing nice to look at. This was why he contacted the Blood Red Watch right away. After entering ancient Buddha land, the connection became much smoother. In just a short while, they were connected and Tian Guangming asked, "Where are you?" The watch immediately sent its coordinates to Tian Guangming. Tian Guangming was shocked. There was actually such a function too. This is just too far. A giant red dot appeared in Tian Guangming's mind. It was extremely far from where he was, at least 10 days away. Quicker, there is someone killing him. Once he gets killed, I will have to find one more person. The watch sent a message to remind Tian Guangming. Okay, I will rush over. Tian Guangming was helpless and could only lower his head and rush. Land had been shrunk and he teleported through the air, swiftly flying forwards. Tian Guangming sped up. He wanted to save the kid from being killed, so he had to cherish the time he had. If the kid was killed, then he would have failed the mission. How far would his position in Master's heart fall? So, he dashed forwards like a madman. He rushed towards the red dot in his mind. In a small city in ancient Buddha land, there were Buddha statues everywhere. The smell of incense wafted in the air and everyone respectfully worshipped the Buddha. In the small city, a beggar had disheveled hair and one wouldn't have been able to tell that just a month ago he was from a big family. He was someone born with a silver spoon and had grown up receiving all sorts of education. The beggar was really pitiful and the Buddhists would often give him buns and throw some copper coins to him. The beggar wasn't greedy, he used the few copper coins in exchange for a bowl of noodles. The boss looked at him in disdain while he carried the noodles to a corner. He ate silently. The noodles were vegetarian but there was soup and oil. He had a bun in his hand. The beggar didn't wolf it down, actually, he ate really elegantly. Even if he was hungry, he wouldn't wolf anything down. This was his bottom line. The beggar finished a bowl of noodles and a few buns off really quickly. He even finished the soup. Eating elegantly didn't mean that someone was slow. This was a skill that this small beggar had learned recently. He ensured elegance while eating quickly too. After he finished, he returned the bowl and walked to a corner. In the dark shadows, the small beggar took out a red watch that was hanging around his neck. "Watch, you told me that someone would come to save me but weeks have already passed." The beggar asked. The red watch said, "He is already here but he just reached this world and will need 10 days to get to you." The beggar realized the key point of the sentence and asked, "He just arrived in ancient Buddha land. The person who is saving me is from another world. You are from another world too?" The little beggar was shocked. The red watch said, "More accurately, we are all not from other worlds. We can enter any world and we belong to the master of the Bank of the Universe." "How amazing is the Bank of the Universe?" the beggar asked. "Very amazing." That was the only thing that the red watch could reply with. "Then, you must be a treasure spirit. I heard my grandfather say that once a treasure reaches a certain level, a spirit that is as smart as a human will form." The beggar grabbed the watch and asked. This was his most precious thing, so the beggar didn't want to lose it. "Me?" The watch reminisced the past. "I shouldn't have had a spirit and should be like the other watches. I would have needed to find a host and then the host will shatter me." The watch said slowly. "Why? It is such a waste to shatter you." The beggar was reluctant. "This was my fate in the past, but now it has changed." The watch said happily. "How did it change?" the beggar asked curiously. "My master, the master of Bank of the Universe, gave me a mission to privately complete by myself. Just like that, I woke up and I was different from the other watches. I have my own intellect now." The watch said happily. "Then, the master must be really strong." The beggar was shocked. "Of course, master sent the person to come save you, so just bear with it and continue being a beggar for 10 more days. The moment this person arrives we shall leave." The watch consoled. "I can do it. Although it is cold at night, I can bear with it." The beggar said firmly. "I still have to take revenge." Chapter 207, I am taking care of this kid. In an unknown city, a little beggar was covered in dirt. He had a nice lunch but had nothing to eat for dinner. However, both the watch and the beggar weren't worried about that. This was because the beggar's mouth was sweet and his eyes were really sharp. He could tell whether one was rich or poor, whether one was kind or violent. Because of this ability, the little beggar had never worried about begging. Close to night, the little beggar found a rich lady and used his sweet mouth and took advantage of her sympathy to call her older sister. Just like that, he acquired enough money for 3 days' worth of food. The first thing he did was split half with the nearby big brother. Provisions. In any place, from the imperial courts or down to the streets, there were conflicts of interests. A strong man didn't want to try hard in life, so he gathered up all the beggars and collected protection fees from them. A beggar was able to work peacefully here because they paid protection fees. The younger the beggar, the more money they had to pay. Based on what the boss said, only a few beggars could earn money. Especially those pitiful-looking ones, those with broken hands and legs could attract the hearts of rich women. If there were some who didn't know how to beg, the boss would let someone teach them how to find a suitable target. And also how to attract a rich lady to be interested step by step. They were all really skilled in such acts. This was the first time the beggar heard of such an organization and he was really impressed. A talent. After handing over 3 days' worth of protection fees, the beggar's money was enough for a bowl of noodles. After eating it, he patted his stomach and stretched. His body felt really warm and he walked by the lake. He carefully bathed and cleaned himself and changed into a clean shirt. On this night, the beggar didn't want to sleep in the city. By the lake, he lit up a bonfire and started to cultivate his family's technique. My injuries have healed up and now I can start to cultivate. To take revenge, one needs to have good body and good cultivation. The beggar believed in that. The watch looked at the disciplined beggar, really satisfied. In front of a calamity, this kid didn't collapse and didn't give up on himself. Instead, he made a goal and decided to strengthen himself. With this personality alone, even without the Bank of the Universe, he could still grow. After he did a few exercises, he sat down and started to train his chi to improve himself. Watch, you said that if I give my God Spirit Meridians to your master, that he would be able to take revenge for me. The beggar suddenly asked. Of course he can, my master has already sent someone over. The watch replied. But those bald monks from Dalan Temple are my enemies. Those fake monks actually killed my entire family to acquire our mine. If I hadn't personally witnessed it, I really wouldn't have believed them. The beggar was filled with hatred. You must remember that in this world, there is no one that my Bank of the Universe doesn't dare to offend. As long as you sign a contract with my master will take revenge for you. The watch was confident. In its mind, Xiandao was the top in the world. Great. The beggar nodded his head firmly. He also anticipated entering the Bank of the Universe. After a night, the beggar had broken through foundation stage but continued to improve himself. He could just kill that beggar boss as he was just a bit stronger than a normal person. After learning some martial arts, the beggar boss just decided to do nothing with his life. But the beggar didn't. He didn't want to upset the balance and attract trouble. This was because Dalan Temple and the monks were looking for him. If there was anything off and he exposed himself, that would be a huge problem. This was why he was willing to be a shy and shifty beggar than expose himself. A few days passed and the beggar continued to beg while he cultivated at night. But on the 9th day, the beggar heard some news. I heard that Dalan Temple's monks are catching a traitor. Right, this traitor is really cruel. He is the son of a demon. We definitely cannot let him grow. Since he is the son of a demon, then we have to beat him to death. Right, Dalan Temple protects us and we have to help them. All of us promote this and once we find that kid, we shall inform the Dalan Temple monks. The city wasn't large and very quickly the rumors started to spread. The beggar started to panic, they have found me. We hid in such a secluded city and they actually still found me. That is just too much. The watch said, calm down, don't worry. Just one more night and tomorrow we will be saved. They have a secret technique to lock onto me. Once I get close they will notice me. The beggar was nervous. He hadn't taken revenge and didn't want to be noticed. Then, we shall exit the city and hide in the wilderness. The monks are only searching the city now. The watch said right away. Okay, let's leave the city. The beggar said decisively. He followed the small route and reached the city entrance. Just as he was about to exit, someone hollered, Son of the demon, you have finally appeared. Outside the city, 3 young monks walked over and stared coldly at the beggar. His body shook in disbelief and he immediately thought about running. You can't run. My master personally tracked you and sent the 5 of us to come and catch you. That should be enough to kill you. Inside the city, 2 more monks walked out and laughed coldly. The beggar's body shook and he hollered, What did I do? How did I become the son of a demon? Your parents have sinned and you are their son, so you have absorbed that sin, which is why you are the son of a demon. A monk scolded. Preposterous. The beggar was so furious his face turned red. He pointed at them and chided. So, my parents have sinned because they didn't hand the God Spirit Meridian Mine to your Dalan temple. Whether they sinned or not, it's all just what you say. You said that my parents sinned, so they sinned. Since your Dalan temple killed 100 members of my family, then don't you deserve to go to hell? The beggar questioned them. No matter what you say, you are just the son of a demon trying to argue for yourself. The son of a demon is great at debating and framing others, but you must not forget that everything depends on cultivation. A fat monk laughed coldly. I will seal your mouth now, you rude kid. You better tell me where the 10,000 God Spirit Meridians are, or I will send you to meet your parents. The fat monk walked closely and gave a vicious smile. How was he a monk? He was just a demon. The little beggar just wanted to punch him to vent his rage. Pang! In the next second, someone really punched the fat monk. Kaka! The monk's face instantly collapsed and he fell to the ground. He flipped dozens of times before finally landing far away. He wasn't breathing. He was dead. I am taking care of this kid. You want to take him away, but have all of you thought about dying yet? An overbearing voice rang out. Chapter 208, Die, Dowd Old Man. Tian Guangming landed from the sky with a simple and clean punch that killed the fat monk. He looked around with a look of confidence. Hong! His aura totally exploded. The peak human celestial aura suppressed everyone in the city, making it tough for many of them to breathe. Even if some of those few monks had decent Dao Saint realm cultivation, in Tian Guangming's eyes, they were just bald-headed camels. They actually dared to attack their Bank of the Universe customer, so they deserved to die. Tian Guangming stared viciously and his aura shook, suppressing the 6 Dao Saint realm monks, and he caused them all to shiver. The other mortals at the entrance noticed that the situation was off, so they fled, leaving the entire area empty. Who are you? This person is the son of a demon and my Dalan temple is hunting him down. Although your cultivation is high, you need to show some respect to Dalan temple, right? A monk, whose face looked like a skeleton, resisted the pressure and questioned Tian Guangming. The other monks also looked at him unhappily. Their Dalan temple was respected no matter where they went, and they were treated like important guests. When had they ever been treated like this? They wanted to use the name of Dalan temple to threaten Tian Guangming and make him retreat. But had Tian Guangming heard of Dalan temple before? He smiled in disdain. What dogshit Dalan temple, your grandfather Tian Guangming won't care about them. Just a few monks who just learned how to talk, and you dare to randomly blame and scold others. You, the thin monk stared at Tian Guangming in rage, and he felt that Tian Guangming was being really unreasonable. Tian Guangming was indeed unreasonable, and he was really unhappy now. Because of you scum, I had to rush over. My legs are on fire from all of that running. Tian Guangming was furious. What dogshit son of a demon, all of you bald monks are spouting nonsense. If you can't take any evidence out, then can't I say that all of you are a bunch of immoral scum? Tian Guangming laughed coldly. Preposterous. My Dalan temple has been in ancient Buddha land for 1,000 years. Who are you to insult it? How arrogant, who are you to taint my Dalan temple's name? The few monks stared at him angrily, they hated Tian Guangming to the bone. Tian Guangming laughed coldly, you don't allow others to taint your Dalan temple, but you allow yourselves to insult others and call him the son of a demon. What kind of logic is that? This kid is the son of a demon. My Dalan temple monk divined that. The thin monk stared with rage. Nonsense. Tian Guangming was hot-tempered and scolded him right away. You actually dare to insult my Dalan temple monk? The few monks were so angry that they shuddered. They couldn't beat Tian Guangming, otherwise, the few of them would have charged up to attack him and let him know that Dalan temple wasn't to be insulted. Tian Guangming laughed coldly, why? You don't allow others to question you. A rubbish high monk who can't even let off a 10-year-old kid. What nonsense, son of demon, if a 10-year-old could be that, then what are your monks even doing? Tian Guangming scolded without holding anything back. Rebel, you actually dare to insult Dalan temple's high monk. The thin monk shivered from anger. He actually ignored the difference in cultivation and forcefully attacked. A fierce glow flashed in Tian Guangming's eyes. He didn't even attack and they dared to attack? Kneel down to your grandfather. Tian Guangming suddenly shouted. His voice was like a loud bell that reverberated through the sky. Putong! In the next second, the monk knelt in front of Tian Guangming and the beggar. His back was straight and his knees were rubbing on the hard ground. It was so painful that he gritted his teeth. Do you know what I hate the most? Tian Guangming laughed coldly. What I hate the most are fake monks like you all who accuse and blame others. Is it because you are interested in his treasure? Tian Guangming laughed coldly and exposed Dalan Temple. The expressions of the other monks were all a little awkward. Tian Guangming was too strong and they weren't able to retaliate at all. Some people slowly retreated and wanted to inform their master to come and kill Tian Guangming. Tian Guangming turned and looked at the few of them. When he saw those scenes, he scoffed coldly and slapped. You few small fish dare to play tricks in front of me, are you sick and tired of living? All of you kneel down. Tian Guangming was so furious and suppressed them with a lift of their hand. Explosion. The ground shook. Cracks appeared on the city wall and out of the 7 of them, 1 died and 6 were kneeling down. Tian Guangming looked around. Based on your logic, I can announce that all of you are the scum of Buddhism and are ruining Buddhism's reputation. So, I can kill all of you. The expressions of the monks changed. They were really terrified and all of them wanted to beg. Don't listen to his nonsense. These monks are only good at talking and their words sound nicer than songs. The beggar said right away, and he didn't want the person who he saved to be persuaded by those monks. Tian Guangming touched his head and said confidently, Don't worry, I am not a fool. They are all people who tried to kill you. Do you want to personally kill them? Tian Guangming suddenly asked. The beggar's eyes lit up and he was surprised. Can I? Of course, you can. It is natural for one to take revenge. Tian Guangming took out a sword and passed it to the beggar. The beggar picked it up and tied up his messy hair, revealing a handsome face. His eyes were spitting fire and his expression was one of rage. His parents had been killed. The family had been wiped out. He was fortunate to escape but had nowhere to go and could only be a beggar. All of this was caused by the monks in front of him. Thinking about it, how could he not be angry? You dare! We are monks from Dalan Temple. If you kill us, then you really are the son of a demon. The monks were terrified and tried to threaten him to scare him off. Son of a demon! The beggar laughed coldly. If I can uproot your Dalan Temple, then even if I am the son of a demon, so what? Today, I am the son of the demon, Li Wuya. The beggar hollered. He raised his long sword and slashed down. The few monks who were kneeling on the ground shuddered. No matter what, they were unable to block that sword. Bastard, you are showing off your true nature at such a young age. Today, I will capture you and lock you in the slaughter tower for you to reflect and cleanse the demonic energy from your body. Someone shouted fiercely from the distance. It was a monk. Master. The few monks were really emotional and they saw their hope. Hong. The monk reached out and an invisible true qi exploded, pointing towards Li Wuya's body. If Li Wuya didn't dodge it, even if he survived, he would be handicapped. When Tian Guangming saw this, his eyes flashed and he said coldly, You dare to kill someone in front of me, you really are asking to die. Hong. Bald monk, die for your grandfather. Tian Guangming punched forwards. Chapter 209, Celestial Artifact Corona. Tian Guangming hated bald monks. Especially one called Heavenheart who fought against him for adoration. Master also liked Heavenheart a lot and he couldn't beat Heavenheart, which was why Tian Guangming had to take all this laying down. Sooner or later he would take care of Heavenheart. But before this, Tian Guangming wanted to kill all these monks that had suddenly popped up. Li Wuya was his protection and they actually dared to kill him? Were they asking to die? Tian Guangming viciously punched forwards and his fist turned into a sun. This was a technique he inherited from the God of Light legacy God of Light Fist. Hong. The space around his fist exploded and a heat wave spread forwards, wrapping up the monk who tried to attack him. The sound of the waves was loud and outside of the city gate, half of the sky was covered in a bright light. The monk who rushed over panicked. He didn't expect such a kid whose family had broken apart to actually have had such a strong expert by his side. Buddha golden body. The monk's body was covered in a golden light and he viciously punched forward. Dong! The two of them clashed, causing the space to shake. It felt as if a storm had started to sweep the area. Explosion! It spread through the entire city, swirling dust and dirt up into the air. The monk's Buddha golden body and Tian Guangming's God of Light fist clashed, but in just 3 seconds, the Buddha golden body fell apart. One arm exploded and fresh blood spurted. The monk cried out and looked at Tian Guangming in terror. Both of them were at human celestial, but why was he so strong? Who are you? Li Wuya is the target of my Dalan temple, so why are you protecting him? The senior monk held onto his wound and asked furiously. Li Wuya is someone who I want to protect, so why don't you just try to attack him? Tian Guangming stepped forwards and his body was floating in the air. A giant sun appeared behind his back that sent rumbling energy waves pressing down. Even the senior monk who was at human celestial realm couldn't help but retreat. Too strong. Tian Guangming was like the sun itself, he had the ability to destroy heaven and earth. Are you not afraid that Dalan Temple demands an explanation? The senior monk tried to struggle and used Dalan Temple's name. Your disciple tried to threaten me but it was useless. Don't try to use the same thing on me. Tian Guangming laughed coldly. The senior monk's face sunk and he knew that this wasn't an easy matter. Li Wuya, you kill his disciple and I will kill this senior monk. Tian Guangming said coldly. Li Wuya nodded his head. This time he didn't hesitate to slash down as there was no one else to stop him. Slice. A clean-shaven head fell to the ground and the blood spurted all over Li Wuya's body. He grinned, now, don't I look more like the son of a demon? The other monks kneeling down all trembled and looked towards Li Wuya in terror. You are the son of a demon. Once Li Wuya heard this, he nodded his head, since you call me that, then I shall be that. Otherwise, wouldn't your promotions of me be useless? Slice. Another sword. Li Wuya was really firm and he killed one person with each step he took. In just a while, the few monks were all killed. Li Wuya looked towards the senior monk in the sky with a cold gaze. As expected from the son of the demon, he kills without blinking. The senior monk trembled and raged. I also kill without blinking, so am I the son of a demon too? Tian Guangming dissed. No, I must be the ancestor of a demon, Tian Guangming muttered. You. The senior monk was infuriated. What? Now, this ancestor will kill you. Tian Guangming stepped forwards and his aura exploded. He waved his great light bright fist forwards. Explosion. The fist technique landed like the rain. This was Tian Guangming's killing blow. The rays of the sun were like raindrops. The senior monk had broken an arm, so his strength was greatly reduced. When he saw that move, he was so shocked in his heart and he knew that things weren't good. He tried to back off and retreat. I have to go back to the temple. A demon ancestor saved the son of a demon. I need help from the temple. The senior monk exclaimed in his heart. While running, he used a secret technique to send this message out. In the next second, sunlight rain came down. This sunlight rain was terrifying and the moment it landed on his body, each drop turned into a fist. A vicious fist smashed his chest in. The monk coughed up blood. He lifted his head and looked on in disbelief. Thousands, tens of thousands of raindrops fell and hit his body. Peng 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 peng. In just a second, the senior monk evaporated. Tian Guangming's fists resulted in the monk's entire body disappearing from the world. Tian Guangming touched his own fist before landing. Today, I can't deal with Heaven Heart, but isn't it more than enough to deal with all of you? Li Wuya looked on in shock with his eyes opened wide. Senior, you are really amazing. Tian Guangming said humbly, it is not that I am amazing but it is that you are too weak. They are no match for me. That is also because Senior is strong. Li Wuya was still in awe and he looked at Tian Guangming with respect. Tian Guangming's pride was satisfied and he waved his hand. Since you are so good with words, I will definitely bring you back safely. Where are we going? Li Wuya asked. Eternal Land. Tian Guangming held Li Wuya and flew into the sky. He used his true qi to protect Li Wuya. Why are we going to Eternal Land? Li Wuya didn't understand. My master is waiting there for you. Tian Guangming replied. Is that true? Li Wuya's eyes lit up. His black eyeballs widened as he really anticipated meeting this mysterious owner. Since his subordinate was so strong, then how strong was the master? Is your master strong? Li Wuya was just a kid, so he couldn't help but ask. He is 100 times stronger than me. Tian Guangming thought about it. He wanted to say 200 times but wouldn't that make it look as if he was too weak? So, he said 100. This helped to praise Li Xiandao while not reducing his image. At that moment, Li Wuya felt that Li Xiandao was unbelievably strong. Dalan Temple, numerous temples, numerous Buddha golden bodies, Bodhisattvas stood tall and incense burned. The senior monk sent out the news before his death and one of the old monks opened his eyes. He said coldly, "A demon ancestor dares to insult our Dalan temple. Use the celestial artifact to lock onto him and capture him." The old monk announced coldly. The other monks pushed out a giant corona. This corona was like a stone steel and on it were carved many profound and dazzling words. Hong! The old monk reached out and injected his scorching true chi in to activate it. Explosion! The corona trembled and slowly awakened. Chapter 210, East Penglay Road. The corona trembled. This ancient godstone had an unbelievable amount of strength. It could be used to suppress enemies while also helping to locate others. This was one of the 3 Dalan temple treasures. The old monk's true chi was like flames and he burned the corona. The corona was giving off light. Explosion! In the light that it gave off, there was a mystical picture. A kid and an extremely fierce guy were having a huge meal. The monk reached out, "They are at East Penglay Road. Bring 49 luhans over to kill that demon head and then bring the kid back to the slaughtering tower." East Penglay Road. Tian Guangming wanted to rush back. But he had basically been rushing for the past month. From the bank of the universe to the world barrier. He entered ancient Buddha land and then rushed over to Li Wuya without stopping at all. Tian Guangming was a little tired. He had been running for 20 days in a row without stopping. Even if he was at human celestial realm he still felt a little tired. Moreover, he couldn't bring Li Wuya and rush like he had been rushing. Li Wuya was just at foundation realm and had to eat. One day of no food would be too much for Li Wuya. This was why after flying for a day, Tian Guangming landed in an ancient city. Penglay City. The city had a food street called East Penglay Road which was filled with delicacies. Many people strolled these streets and it was bustling with excitement. Tian Guangming brought Li Wuya and got a room in an inn to wash up. The little beggar Li Wuya could finally wash the 5th off from his body. His clean little face looked really polite and elegant. After washing up, Li Wuya and Tian Guangming ordered a table of dishes in the restaurant. Of the dozen dishes, there was meat and fish, and Tian Guangming told Li Wuya not to hold back. "This is for you. Men should eat meat by the mouthful and drink wine in bowls. But since you are underage, you can't drink." Tian Guangming tore off a huge piece of chicken thigh and passed it to Li Wuya. Li Wuya smiled. The education that he had received since he was young didn't teach him anything like this. But since Tian Guangming ripped it off for him, Li Wuya decided to reach out and grab it. He learned from Tian Guangming to bite into it. Li Wuya's life had changed and he was now framed as the son of the demon. He also wanted to change his personality. So, he would start by eating meat by the mouthful. Tian Guangming ate delicious food and drank wine while looking at the scenery. Ancient Buddha land really is filled with Buddhists. He looked down and the entire street was filled with Buddhist believers. They ate vegetarian, some wore beautiful clothing, and some were dressed like monks. Ancient Buddha land was filled with religions 10,000 years ago, but since Dalan Temple was built, they chased out the other Zen Buddhist monks and used Buddhism as the foundations. They spread their faith and wiped out the other sects until the only dominant sect left was Buddhism. Li Wuya explained. "It is just one religion, how did they go up against the entire ancient Buddha land?" Tian Guangming didn't understand. That is because Dalan Temple is supported by the Buddhist sect from the 9 skies 8,000 years ago. Dalan Temple swept the southern monster race and heavily injured the 8 monster kinds. They were able to do that because their ancestors came down from the 9 skies. Li Wuya told Tian Guangming everything. They were able to come down just like that. Tian Guangming was shocked. 9 skies and the 10 lands were separated because they didn't want experts from above to interfere. The Book of War was able to bring the 10,000 Flame Kings up because of the huge gap in cultivation, and the next time he came down, he wouldn't be able to head up anymore. The old monks in the 9 skies could randomly come down? I am not sure. That shouldn't be the case. Since Dalan Temple was built 10,000 years ago, that was the first time they came down. It was because the 8 monster kings were too strong and they nearly wiped out Dalan Temple. Especially the old ancestor demon frog who fought 3 experts from 9 skies alone. But in the end, his body was sliced and who knows whether he is dead or in hiding. Li Wuya sighed. Dalan Temple didn't prohibit history from being written. They only spread faith and didn't rule ancient Buddha land. But such transmission of faith caused ancient Buddha land, which was originally filled with many different faiths, to lose its luster. Ancient Buddha land's name had been changed by Dalan Temple during these 10,000 years. Now, many people had forgotten what ancient Buddha land was originally called. Tian Guangming ate and drank but then suddenly sensed that something was off. There were fewer and fewer people on the streets. The shop owners hurriedly packed up and quickly left. In the restaurant, the owner and waiter were instructed by someone else. Their faces turned white and they left. In just a moment, the entire restaurant was silent. The entire East Penglay Road was silent. Li Wei saw such scenes and asked curiously, "What happened? Did the Dalan temple find us?" Tian Guangming looked at him and grinned, "You don't even need to guess to know that it is them. They seem aggressive." Li Wei was worried. "Just eat here, I will come back soon." Tian Guangming suddenly stood up and said, "Senior, be careful." Li Wei shouted. "Don't worry, have you seen a sandbag huge fist?" Tian Guangming clenched his fist and walked out confidently. Hong! The moment he reached the door, he saw a bunch of monks on East Penglay Road. They gave off a threatening aura and the leader was even at peak human celestial realm. All 49 monks were standing on the street and staring at Tian Guangming. "You demon killed my Dalan temple monk. Today, I will let you die here." A monk who was holding a demon-crushing pestle stared over in rage. He was a warrior monk and had a strong build. Tian Guangming looked at them and at himself before he said in disdain, "I just walked out and all your bald heads are making me dizzy. Why are a bunch of you attacking me? It is a mistake that the chief monk made me bring so many of them. I can kill you alone." The monk shook the pestle and an invisible energy wave spread out. He took big strides forwards. "I am here to remove your sins, you demon," the monk said confidently. He slashed down with the demon-crushing pestle in his hand. When Tian Guangming saw this, he laughed, "You are asking to die, so don't blame me." Since Tian Guangming merged with the god of light divinity, he hadn't had a good battle. Clang! There was a crisp sound. Tian Guangming's body was covered in a white, crystal-like light armor. He teleported forwards and punched. Dong! This fist hit the demon-crushing pestle and with a crack, the pestle shattered. The monk was astonished and knew that Tian Guangming wasn't so easy to deal with. He tried to retreat, hacking down with one arm like an old man chopping lumber. "You want to escape? Do you think you can?" Tian Guangming's eyes shone sharply. He bent his knee, bent his waist, swung his elbow, and struck his heart. Kaka! The warrior monk's chest shattered and his body flew a few dozen meters back like a banner. He smashed into the ground. Tian Guangming stood there proudly, "Today, I will use my fists to kill all of you from East Penglay Road to West Penglay Road." Chapter 211, Conflict at East Penglay Road. One strike from Tian Guangming crushed a human celestial realm expert of the same realm. His attacks were really direct and he shocked the other monks. He looked at the monk who was laying on the ground with his dying breaths. It was obvious that he didn't have long to live. He was only able to hold on due to his strong cultivation, otherwise, he would have died already. "Kill him! Form up!" the martial monk hollered. His face was covered in blood and he looked at Tian Guangming with a vengeful gaze. He wanted to see Tian Guangming killed before he died. "Form up!" 48 monks all shouted in unison. There was the 18 Luhan formation, Demon Subduing formation, Golden Body formation. Under the leadership of 8 peak human celestial realm monks, they surrounded Tian Guangming. Apart from them, there was no one else on East Penglay Road. When Tian Guangming saw this, he became more excited. His energy surged like a volcano that was about to explode. "I hope that all of you can cause problems for me." Tian Guangming smiled arrogantly. This time he wanted to prove that he was a man. A man had to do what a man did. He would do what a man did. Tian Guangming lifted his finger and pointed at them, "From now on, all of you are surrounded by me. Demon head die." The 18 Luhans couldn't take such humiliation. A peak human celestial realm expert and 17 peak transcendent realm experts charged. Explosion! The energies of the 18 Luhans linked together like a huge, blazing fire. They spread forwards and wanted to burn Tian Guangming. Dong! One of the Luhan's hands was like a spear that hacked down. He was really aggressive and the aura was really shocking. But Tian Guangming wasn't afraid. He stepped out and his fist smashed forwards like a wok. What one heard next was a cracking sound. God of Light Fist. This fist technique was really bold and menacing. It smacked directly into his hand and the power of light fractured the Luhan's golden body right away. Die! Another Luhan punched Tian Guangming. The fist was even surging with an eye-catching and sharp light. Scram! Tian Guangming hollered and punched out, smashing that Luhan's fist head-on. Kaka! The Luhan's hand instantly shattered. His body flew backward and smashed into the ground. He spat out mouthfuls of blood and was on his dying breaths. The other Luhans panicked. Was Tian Guangming so strong? The fist directly crushed the 18 Luhan formation. Just one slight clash and one was injured, while the other was badly injured. The 16 Luhans remaining didn't know whether to retreat or continue forwards. Tian Guangming swung his arms as they felt numb. It wasn't easy for him to take one fist from the 18 Luhan whose energies were connected to each other. But after a few swings, Tian Guangming was perfectly fine. He grinned and said, "Now, it is time to let all of you know who the most handsome guy on East Penglai Road is." Hong! The moment he said this, Tian Guangming made a move and punched. A bright light shone and covered half the sky. It was as if Tian Guangming had summoned a sun. God of Light Fist. The fist brought with it the purest form of light in the world, shining on all dark sports and clearing out all evil spirits. This strike was really strong. Tian Guangming's body disappeared from the spot. Demon subduing formation. The second formation arrived. All of them hollered and the 13 of them all surged forwards. Their cultivation was connected and they were now one. They landed and blocked Tian Guangming's fist. Explosion. The ripples from the fist continued to spread and destroyed multiple houses around. You can block one fist, but what about my second fist? Tian Guangming raised his arm and did an uppercut, sending one peak human celestial realm expert flying. Kaka! His rib cage shattered. Tian Guangming appeared in the sky and kicked him down. Hong! The peak human celestial monk spat out large mouthfuls of blood and he smashed into the ground. The ground started to shake and numerous cracks appeared. Kaka! A person landed. A fist followed and covered all the monks in East Penglai Road. Sunlight rain. Tian Guangming's expression was cold. All his true chi gathered together and he was extremely bright. He used his ultimate move. A white sun appeared in the night sky and numerous raindrops fell down from the sky. Each drop of water was like a full-strength attack from Tian Guangming. The rain covered the entire street. The more than 40 monks were all covered. Tian Guangming said coldly, "I am the strongest person on East Penglai Road." Hong! 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 Raindrops fell on the bodies of the monks and they turned into fists that dealt heavy blows. It caused the bodies of the monks to tremble and they all spat out mouthfuls of blood. Some of their heads were hit and they died immediately from the fist. Defend! Quick, form a barrier. Golden unbreakable body. Golden bell cover. All sorts of defense techniques were used but none of them were useful. A raindrop landed on the golden bell and turned into a fist. With a loud crack, the defensive bell broke. In the next second, that monk looked on in despair. Dozens of raindrops landed on his body. Peng 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 peng. In just a short second, the body of the monk broke apart and he was dead. This was just one person. The other monks received the same attack and there was really nothing they could do. Even peak human celestials couldn't block that strike, much less the many here who weren't peak human celestial. In just a few seconds, all the monks died under his sunlight rain. There was only one king on East Penglai Road. Tian Guangming was the one. If you think that just the few of you can kill me, all of you are dreaming. Tian Guangming looked at all the corpses and said in disdain. From East Penglai Road to West Penglai Road, Tian Guangming was the most handsome. He walked back slowly and Li Wuya looked towards him in worship. "Senior, you are so amazing. I am just okay. They are the ones who are weak." Tian Guangming picked up the wine jug and took a gulp. "Senior, how did they find us?" Li Wuya asked curiously. "It has to be divination, destiny, stars, etc., that can predict the future. They can find us once, so they can find us a second time. Are you full?" Tian Guangming asked. Li Wuya nodded his head and said, "Yes. Let's go, we can't stay here. They lost these monks, so they will definitely send stronger people. I might not be able to block them." Tian Guangming said solemnly. He knew his strength. He could kill people at human celestial, but against those at legend realm, he didn't have much chance, unless he broke through to legend realm. Speaking of which, he felt like he was about to. Once this battle ended, the power in his body continued to increase. It was like he was about to jump through the dragon gates and reach into the next realm. Chapter 212, Ancient Desert City. Tian Guangming left quickly with Li Wuya and they chose not to stay on East Penglai Road. Along the way, because he was worried that Dalan Temple would continue to chase him, he sought help from Li Xiandao. Within the Bank of the Universe, Li Xiandao looked at the battle expressionlessly. Tian Guangming's strength had exceeded his expectations. But that was a good thing. The stronger Tian Guangming got, the happier Li Xiandao would be. But Li Xiandao didn't expect that the Dalan Temple would send 49 monks to capture Tian Guangming and Li Wuya. Dalan Temple won't let this matter rest. Li Xiandao understood. So, before Tian Guangming asked for help, Li Xiandao had decided to send a few subordinates to help. Heaven Heart, Moon Angel Yuzuna, Fallen Angel Lucifer. Li Xiandao also wanted to send the old priest and the northern region Lord Gongyu over. But that would cause a huge commotion, and if 7 found out, then the surprise would be over. This was why Li Xiandao called the 3 of them over in secret. Heaven Heart, Moon Angel Yuzuna, and Fallen Angel Lucifer surged in to see Li Xiandao. Master! The 3 of them shouted. All of you will head to ancient Buddha land and save Tian Guangming. He is facing problems now. Li Xiandao wore his mask and sat in his chair as he gave out his orders. The 3 of them didn't ask why Tian Guangming was in ancient Buddha land and just agreed. Be quick! Tian Guangming might die at any moment. His fists are not strong enough. Li Xiandao was worried. He wasn't worried that Tian Guangming would die, but rather that something would happen to Li Wuya. Don't worry, master, we will head out now. Heaven Heart nodded his head and left right away. Lucifer and Yuzuna followed and they headed towards the world barrier. At ancient Buddha land, within Dalan Temple, an old monk was stunned as he stared at the corona. On it were 49 drops of blood. Each drop of blood was from the monks of Dalan Temple and each drop represented 1 life. 49 drops, 49 lives. There were many human celestial monks. Although Dalan Temple was huge, losing this many still made them feel heart-pained. This person is a demon. We have to wipe him out and save the common people. The old monk said firmly. Dong! There was the sound of a bell, which sent out 10 Legend Realm experts. They used the Dalan Temple teleportation formation to head to the district nearest to Tian Guangming. They wanted to kill Tian Guangming, capture the son of the demon, and suppress him in the slaughter tower. This was Dalan Temple's plan. Since Dalan Temple has wiped out the ancient Buddha land monster race, it has been a long time since we have done something huge. Now, so many people dare to offend us. The old monk stood in front of the hall with a cold expression. He seemed as cold as the other Buddhist statues that they worshipped. No matter which power you are from, you have to die. The power behind you must be a demon sect and thus we must wipe out all of you. The old monk thought about it coldly. Tian Guangming and Li Wuya ran for a whole night and came to a desert. Once we pass this desert, we won't be far from eternal land. Tian Guangming said happily. How many days will it take? Li Wuya asked. 6 days. Tian Guangming estimated before saying. With senior's speed, it'll take you 6 days. Li Wuya was shocked. Tian Guangming's current cultivation reached peak human celestial and he was 1 foot into legend realm. And he needed 6 days? How big was this desert? This was the first time that Li Wuya really felt that ancient Buddha land was huge. Rushing like this was quite problematic. Tian Guangming was helpless. They didn't have a teleportation formation or any void crossing techniques, so he could only fly. Let's go and enter this desert. The Dalan Temple won't chase us, right? Tian Guangming was not certain. The endless desert was really dangerous with poisonous bugs, snakes, and scorpions. Under the desert, there were also poisonous dragons. When Tian Guangming came, he had faced one and the terrifying aura frightened him so much that he didn't dare to get close. There were people, races, sects, tribes, etc., in the desert too. There were also many grassy areas in this endless desert. The water would surge up and form lakes and nourish the grass. The desert appeared to be nothing but sand, however, when one entered one would understand that there was much more to it. The desert, one needed to understand its beauty. Tian Guangming brought Tian Guangming into the desert and continued to fly swiftly. But each day they would stop and rest for a while. Li Wuya needed to eat and rest as well as deal with his personal hygiene issues. After all those things, Tian Guangming felt that the 6 days he estimated was an ideal state. But he had no choice. He was a kid, so he had to eat and drink to grow. After entering the desert, Tian Guangming and Li Wuya spent the night in an inn. In the desert, some would create an inn beside a well to welcome guests. On the second day, Tian Guangming was resting on a patch of grass. This grassy area was for armies to rest and replenish. The grassland was totally different from the large patches of sand. When one spent so much time in the desert and saw such greenery, one couldn't help but feel happy. After 2 days in the desert, Tian Guangming fell in love with the greenery. He suddenly recalled what Master said. Green represented health and was the most beautiful color, but unfortunately, love corrupted it. In the past, Tian Guangming didn't understand, but now, he knew that it was true. When I go back I shall buy a green hat and wear it. Tian Guangming couldn't help but think in this way. On the third day, Tian Guangming and Li Wuya finally saw a city. They saw a patch of greenery and a clear lake. This was one of the few green areas in the desert. Tian Guangming and Li Wuya looked on excitedly. I love greenery. Li Wuya smiled innocently. Tian Guangming nodded, I love greenery too. The two of them smiled at one another as they walked on the grass. The soft texture felt totally different from the dirt and sand. This might have been one of the benefits of greenery. After entering the city, Tian Guangming and Li Wuya's first thought was to eat something. The main reason was because Li Wuya had to eat. Tian Guangming hadn't taken care of a kid before, so he hadn't prepared any food. If they were hungry they would just find it wherever they were. The last time Li Wuya had eaten was yesterday. Just as they entered, they saw a bare-chested monk. Tian Guangming's eyes twitched, did they really chase us all the way here? Help the people and wipe out the demon. That is what our Dalan temple will do. The fat monk said expressionlessly. Moreover, this city has a teleportation formation connected to the outside world, so I've been here a long time waiting for all of you to fall into this trap. The fat monk had a vicious and ugly smile on his face. Chapter 213, Shattering Golden Body. Why is your Dalan temple so annoying? Tian Guangming felt really helpless. How is destroying the demons and doing righteous things annoying? The fat monk said coldly. All of you are such bullies. Tian Guangming looked towards the monk in disdain. If you say something once, it might be wrong. If you say it 10 times it might still be wrong. But after you say it 100 or 1000 times then it will be true. The fat monk laughed coldly. He seemed really unfriendly but his words did make sense. No one would believe that a 10-year-old kid would cause problems for society. They were just greedy for the god spirit meridians in the kid's hand. Dalan temple needed to be correct when they did things as they were the role models of Buddhism. This was why they said that the kid was the son of the demon and that the person who saved him was the demon ancestor. When one said it once, one might have been really confused. How could this kid be the son of the demon? After one said it 10 times, one would start to believe that this kid was the son of the demon, that if they didn't remove him, he would end up being a huge problem in the future. After one said it 100 or 1000 times, the kid would totally be the son of the demon in his heart and one had to kill him. If not, the world would definitely be shaken up by this kid. When that happened, they would be one of the accomplices. Thus, they had to kill this kid now. The lies from the start would end up being a reason to kill the kid. If one didn't kill the kid, they would end up being scolded for it. This was the way that Dalan temple brainwashed people. One did the worst thing but one felt really righteous and satisfied deep down. Tian Guangming saw through it all and laughed coldly. You probably don't know that a while ago in East Penglai Road, I held 2 watermelon blades in my hand and killed from north to south. Blood flowed like a river and corpses covered the land. I didn't even blink and just chopped them up one by one. Do you still want to try? The fat monk looked at Tian Guangming and laughed coldly, do you think that I didn't know that you didn't have a watermelon blade? Tian Guangming put his hands on his waist and said unhappily, are we going to argue about the watermelon blade? I have killed the 49 monks of your Dalan temple, so do you want to become the 50th? Tian Guangming said coldly. What gave you the confidence to say that in front of a legend person? The fat monk said in disdain. Don't tell me that confidence came from you killing from East Penglai Road to West Penglai Road. The fat monk mocked. Tian Guangming squinted in annoyance at the person mocking him. Li Wuya, back off. Get as far away as you can. Tian Guangming said with a cold gaze. Li Wuya was a really well-behaved person. He turned around and ran right away. The fat monk saw that and didn't care about Li Wuya at all. He was just a Foundation Realm kid, and once he killed Tian Guangming, he would be able to capture him anytime. It was as simple as an eagle capturing a chick. Now, I shall let you know what gives me the confidence. Tian Guangming saw that Li Wei had left, and killing intent instantly rose up in him. Hong! A terrifying aura exploded without any signs. Tian Guangming waved his white fist onto it. Even when he faced a Legend Realm expert, he feared nothing. Dang! But the fist hit the fat monk's body like he had hit an iron plate. Tian Guangming was forced back while the fat monk just stomped onto the ground. 100 meters of ground around was covered in cracks like a spider web. This is how much confidence you have. The fat monk looked at Tian Guangming and laughed coldly. You can't even touch a single hair of mine and you dare to be so arrogant? Legend Realm is not something that human celestials like you can look down on. The fat monk said coldly. That strike was just a probing strike, so what are you being proud about? Tian Guangming stood there and said calmly. Such a sharp mouth. I really want to see what else you can do. The fat monk monkeyed. Then, have a taste of my God of Light Fist. Tian Guangming's body moved forwards quickly. He appeared in front of the fat monk and smashed down with his fist. Explosion. This strike was Tian Guangming's full blow. He took in a deep breath, like the eye of the storm which absorbed spiritual energy from all around. It rotated in his body and all of it exploded in that one fist. Dang! This strike landed on the fat monk's chest. The fat monk's expression didn't change and he said coldly, body protecting golden body. Dong! A giant Buddha appeared which blocked Tian Guangming's strike. Tian Guangming's expression didn't change as he punched forwards once more. Hong! Through this fist, Tian Guangming totally released all restrictions on him and he used the strongest move from God of Light Fist. Great Light Bright Fist. Explosion. A bright sun shone out from his fist which looked like magma flowing. It also felt as if a waterfall was smashing down. Tian Guangming had fully turned into the burning sun at that moment. The true qi in his body roared and shook. It was like the dam of the Yellow River breaking and anything that stood in the way of the river flow would be drowned instantly. Many slivers of light appeared beside Tian Guangming's body. Each streak of it could shatter mountains and rivers and even crush dams. His power was extremely terrifying and each ray of light could shine through the void. It felt as if there were thousands of God-powered rivers surging down. All of them were gathered in Tian Guangming's fist, smashing viciously forwards. Kaka! A crack appeared on the Buddha statue. Tian Guangming was delighted and he didn't hesitate to continue striking. His fists continued to rain down as he dealt a series of quick blows. Peng 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 peng. The fat monk's expression changed. He didn't expect Tian Guangming to be so strong. This wasn't power that someone at human celestial realm could have. It exceeded human celestial and was about to reach legend realm. All of a sudden, the fat monk was suppressed by Tian Guangming's all-out attacks and was forced to defend. He tried to block Tian Guangming's fists. But how could passive defense feel as good as proactive attacks? Tian Guangming didn't care about defense and just fought his opponent head-on. He traded injuries and was so ferocious that the battle seemed like a total mess. But the problem was, how would the fat monk trade injuries with him? He was at Legend Realm. Tian Guangming's aggressiveness was just temporary and once this passed, the fat monk would be able to deal with him. Peng peng peng. Tian Guangming dealt 10 fists and 8 of them were blocked by the monk. However, 2 of them landed on the Buddha body. Kaka! Each fist would leave one crack that couldn't be repaired. Tian Guangming's eyes shone brighter and brighter. He stepped down into the ground and in an instant he dealt a series of 108 fists. These 108 fists dazzled the fat monk, and all of a sudden, he was unable to block most of them. Ka ka ka! The cracks became larger and larger like how an exquisite porcelain vase was dropped and one tried to piece it back together. The final fist. Shatter! Tian Guangming hollered and gathered all of his strength and energy. Explosion! The God Power waterfall was really astonishing and it transformed into Tian Guangming's fist. Peng! Block! That fist caused the fat monk's expression to change and he tried his best to block. Kaka! He did block it but the impact exploded from his body and shattered the golden body right away. Pui! The fat monk spat out a mouthful of blood. He stared at Tian Guangming and really wanted to skin Tian Guangming alive. Now that you are out of energy, you are unable to continue, right? The fat monk wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth and said coldly. He was totally different from before and now his eyes were bloodthirsty. He looked more like a demon than even a demon did. Chapter 214, I am your grandfather. The fat monk hated Tian Guangming to death. His Buddha golden body. His golden body that he nurtured for 3,000 years. It was actually shattered by the fists of a human celestial realm expert. 000 years of hard work had turned to dust. The fat monk even had thoughts of killing him. He stared at Tian Guangming and his vicious looks made Tian Guangming laugh. What are you laughing at? The fat monk hollered in rage. His attitude was totally different from a while ago where all he did was mock him. Just now, he had underestimated Tian Guangming and wanted to play around with him. Who knew that Tian Guangming was so decisive and so head-on? His explosiveness totally suppressed him. Terrifying. When the fat monk thought about that final fist whose power could cross into legend realm, if he didn't block that, then he would definitely be badly injured. Unlike now when he only lost the Buddha golden body and spat out a mouthful of blood. I am laughing at you. How do you even look merciful and kind now? You just look like a demon from hell. A demon is a Buddha is a demon. Dalan Temple is a corrupted place that is raising all you demons. Tian Guangming slowly climbed up and laughed coldly. He had no more energy in his body and was totally empty. Those 108 fists had consumed all of his true qi. You really are not afraid to die. With no more true qi, how do you dare to act so arrogantly in front of me? The fat monk expression was ice cold. He walked slowly step by step and wanted to rip Tian Guangming's mouth apart. This was the thing that the fat monk hated the most over these 100 years. The last thing he hated was shattered by him such that no corpse remained. Now, he wanted to rip apart Tian Guangming's mouth. Dead fatty, I forgot to tell you something. Tian Guangming suddenly said. What? The fat monk was stunned. He stared at Tian Guangming in rage. This guy actually dared call him a dead fatty? Go and die. The fat monk was furious. He was originally walking step by step but now he strolled across and reached Tian Guangming in just 2 to 3 steps. He reached forwards and wanted to grab Tian Guangming's head. Pang! But just at that moment, a bright light shot into the sky from Tian Guangming's body, resulting in light descending. This light was like a cow made of dirt heading into an ocean, disappearing into the sky. It then directed light back onto the grass plains which instantly drowned out the land. Explosion! The fat monk wanted to grab Tian Guangming but the light shook him away. He looked on in disbelief. Your true qi was all gone. The fat monk felt that his past experience was not enough. He had no more true qi and could continue to be so arrogant. As the endless sunlight landed, Tian Guangming stood tall. His clothes exploded and one could see his muscles. He looked towards the fat monk and smiled. I told you I forgot to tell you something. What? The fat monk looked at Tian Guangming in shock. He had a bad feeling. I told you that today, I am the heaven's favorite child. Tian Guangming shouted. He swallowed the sunlight and all of it surged into his body. Tian Guangming started to break through. Explosion! The commotion he caused was huge. Like the sun that was slowly rising into the air, it slowly became warmer and warmer, hotter and hotter. Tian Guangming's body also had a bodily sun that rose up, from the danshan to his heart and then into his brain. Explosion! Tian Guangming's body started to give out explosive noises. It was like an ocean of energy inside with the sun shining down on the ocean. One could see life, one could see determination, one could see hope. Hong! Outside, Tian Guangming's aura started to climb. It was like the sun high in the sky had reached its peak and was giving off an endless aura. Everyone in the city hid themselves. Mere mortals couldn't afford to watch as these two elders fought. Tian Guangming looked at the fat monk and grinned. Now, both of us are in the same realm, so would you be my opponent? The monk knew that this was bad. Tian Guangming actually broke through while fighting. He was already so amazing at human celestial realm, so wouldn't he be much stronger now? We will meet in the future. The fat monk wanted to run right away. You stop there! Tian Guangming hollered and his voice reverberated through the air. In the next second, flames appeared and burned his physical body. Pu pu pu. His body was being scored, revealing a jade-like set of bones. Tian Guangming stepped out and meat instantly grew on his legs. With his second step, his entire leg was covered in meat. Third step. Fourth step. Fifth step. Tian Guangming took 9 steps and he was now a new person. This was rebirth. All his clothes were destroyed and his muscles and body were shining bright. It was filled with a mysterious power. Tian Guangming stood in front of the monk and formed a sunlight armor to cover his masculine body. He said coldly, "Now, I can kill you with one fist." Getting into Legend Realm was like stepping onto the path to the heavens. Once one successfully crossed that stage, one would be totally different from a mortal. Tian Guangming was able to injure the monk at human celestial realm, so now he could definitely crush him. Dong! Tian Guangming's aura was like flames that covered the monk. It placed huge pressure on him. If you want to die, then die together. You can forget about humiliating me. The monk couldn't handle the pressure. He couldn't breathe and hollered loudly, wanting to risk it all against Tian Guangming. Hong! Tian Guangming didn't say a word and gave him a punch. The punch landed right on the fat monk's chest. This couldn't be compared to his previous punches. One punch from before caused Tian Guangming to fly back from the recoil, but now, his one punch caused the fat monk's chest to collapse. Kaka! Who knew whether it was one sound or countless sounds, but the explosion noises continued one after another. But it sounded like there was just one sound that lasted for a long time. All his bones were shattered as they weren't able to resist at all. Pui! The fat monk spat out his own intestines as he stared at Tian Guangming in despair. The gap was just huge. Before Tian Guangming broke through, he could make him bleed. After he broke through, one fist, just one fist settled him. Don't! You don't! Don't be happy! Too early, the monk spat out blood while he stammered. Tian Guangming said coldly, "More people are coming to kill me. You can't afford to offend Dalan Temple and you will pay the price." The fat monk seemed to be in the last moments of his life. He managed to use all his energy to say some clear words. "The power behind me is also not something that you can afford to offend." Tian Guangming smiled confidently. "I have sent a message to the others and they are coming over. You can't run from us." The fat monk spat out blood from his mouth. "Okay then, I shall kill every one of you who comes and send you down to talk to my grandson. Is that okay with you?" Tian Guangming asked. "You scum, you won't live a good life," the fat monk spat out a mouthful of blood. Before he died he was still insulted by Tian Guangming, and for no reason at all, he had become Tian Guangming's grandson. He wasn't willing. Chapter 215, Luhan Golden Body. Tian Guangming had broken through to Legend Realm. This was like a person stepping into a new peak. One fist managed to kill the fat monk. In the desert city, the sand stopped blowing and a slight wind blew up some of the surrounding dried grass. The silence perfectly described the current situation. Tian Guangming looked around and noticed half a pig worth of meat on a seller's table. He walked over, tossed down a piece of God source, and carried the pork away. Only a long while after Tian Guangming left did a person sneak over and keep the God source. He looked towards the body of the fat monk and said in disdain, "Tisk, as expected you are not a good person. That person is so nice, he even paid me for what he took." Very few of those in the desert believed in Buddhism. After all, here, the law of the jungle stood above all and religion was useless. Li Wuya was really well behaved and hid far away. He fled all the way to the lake beside the grassy area. The lake water slowly rippled but Li Wuya didn't have the time nor energy to look at it. He stared at the city and looked forward to Tian Guangming's victory. "Senior, you have to win." Li Wuya clenched his small fist and cheered for Tian Guangming. No matter whether or not he was useful, this was also the only thing that he could do. Da-da-da! Tian Guangming walked over with pork in his hand. When he saw Li Wuya he tossed the pork at him, "Wash it and I will barbecue it for you." Li Wuya cheered, "Senior, you won." Tian Guangming said proudly, "That monk was as fat as a pig and he wanted to kill me." Li Wuya happily carried half the pig head and washed it in the lake. In just a short while, the pork had been cleaned. Li Wuya's stomach grumbled and he looked at Tian Guangming in embarrassment. "You are shy? You haven't eaten in a day and you have to at least eat half of this pig." Tian Guangming laughed out loud. Li Wuya nodded his head firmly, "Then, let's start a fire." "No, there is no need to. It is very simple." Tian Guangming opened his palm and true qi appeared. It wrapped the meat and using the light from the sun, he started to barbecue it. Sizzle! In just 3 seconds, the pork started to cook and oil started to drip from it. Tian Guangming took out rough salt and scattered it over the pork to quickly barbecue it. The scent of pork wafted all over. Li Wei gulped his saliva and looked forwards to the barbecued pork. 3 minutes later, the pork was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Tian Guangming passed him a piece while he sliced a small portion for himself. Eat. Eat to your fill. We are going to welcome another large battle. Tian Guangming said calmly and bit down on it. His face froze. Okay, I will try my best not to cause problems for senior. Li Wei nodded his head and bit down too. His face froze. Pui. Novi.co. Li Wei spat out the pork and looked at Tian Guangming innocently. This might be a problem with the pork. Tian Guangming spat out the pork in his mouth and said. I don't think it's the pork. Li Wei dissed. Tian Guangming looked at the pig head that looked good while he dealt with the terrible taste in his mouth. He helplessly walked towards the city. Let's go to the restaurant. Tian Guangming said calmly. As for that half a pig head, Tian Guangming was so furious he smashed it into dust with one punch. It was all because the quality of the meat was bad that his top cooking skills couldn't be revealed. In the endless desert, 9 Legend Realm monks wrapped around and were able to head to kill Tian Guangming. They all got news from the fat monk and knew that Tian Guangming broke through to Legend Realm. But so what? He broke through to Legend Realm and could behave arrogantly towards their Dalan temple? To be impolite, people at Legend Realm Stage 1 wouldn't even rank in the top 100 of Dalan temple. The other 9 monks were at the very least Stage 6. The few of them wrapped around the city and surrounded Tian Guangming like a trapped beast. He killed so many of our Dalan temple and deserves to die. A hot-tempered monk said coldly. I didn't know that there would still be people in ancient Buddha land that dare to provoke our Dalan temple. He really is arrogant. An old man said. The Buddha can smile and can also be angry. Today, we shall show that demon how terrifying the Buddha is when he is angry. A monk whose body was shining gold looked towards the endless sand and said. These people were all rushing towards Tian Guangming and all of them swore to kill him. In front of the ancient Buddha land world barrier, Heaven Heart and the other 2 crossed it and entered ancient Buddha land. When Heaven Heart entered, he smelled the Buddhist Dao teachings in the spiritual energy and said, Is Tian Guangming dead yet? Whether he is dead or alive is not important. What is important is the kid. Everything will be fine as long as the kid is alive. Lucifer said. Tian Guangming should be able to hold on for a while. He probably won't die. But I hope that they can seriously injure him. Moon Angel said. I hope so too. Heaven Heart said that, but in his heart, he continued to search for that watch. I found it. Heaven Heart suddenly said. Where? Lucifer asked. Moon Angel looked on silently. He is in the desert in the distance. Heaven Heart reached out and pointed. Then, let's be quick. We are many times faster than him and we can try our best to rush there. Lucifer said. I will head over first. Moon Angel's body was like lightning, and like mist, like the wind, she disappeared. The wings on Lucifer's back opened and with an explosion, he shot through the air towards Tian Guangming. As for Heaven Heart, he rushed over. With one step, 100 miles disappeared. In just a short while, he covered yet another 100 miles. To save that kid, Heaven Heart used all of his skills. Within the bank of the universe, Li Xiandao paid attention to all of this and frowned. Unfortunately, I have no teleportation techniques and my cultivation won't allow me to cross vast distances of land. Li Xiandao sighed. If he had such techniques, he would pass them to Tian Guangming and let him bring Li Wei back. The bank of the universe has many sealed mountain peaks. Let's hope that the next one will surprise me. Li Xiandao thought about it. He looked at the pictures of Tian Guangming bringing Li Wei back on track. They exited the greenery and sand was all around them. The blistering sun caused the grains of sand to become extremely hot. Fortunately, they didn't need to walk on the ground. But Tian Guangming flew for just a moment and felt a large amount of energy shaking in the distance. Dong! Dong dong! Dong dong dong! It was like someone hammering towards the space, causing the sky to become a drum. Tian Guangming looked forwards and saw a shining, gold monk walk over. Behind him was a giant Luhan golden body. Beside the body was a fierce tiger. This was Submitting Tiger Luhan Golden Body. Chapter 216, Celestial Artifact Heaven Emperor Brush. The guy with the Submitting Tiger Luhan Golden Body instantly appeared in front of Tian Guangming. He had a determined expression and his muscles were evenly distributed all over his face. Every movement of his was filled with power. His eyes were really sharp and gave one a sense of pressure, even making one feel that their souls had been invaded. He was different from the merciful and gentle monks. Just one look and one knew that he was hot-tempered. The submitting tiger Luhan golden body behind him shone a gold light like it was watered with gold. Just one look and it gave off a very courageous and valiant feeling to it. Dong! The monk stabilized himself and stared at Tian Guangming. His eyes gave off a shocking gaze like they were two sharp swords. You are that demon ancestor. His voice was like that of a bell that gave off a buzzing sound, shaking one's eardrums. It also made Tian Guangming's expression turn solemn. Not bad. I am the one that you call the demon ancestor. Although his expression was solemn, Tian Guangming wouldn't show any weakness. He stared at the monk and knew that this was going to be a life and death battle. Do you know why I am looking for you? The monk with the submitting tiger Luhan golden body said. Maybe because you are gay and like how good looking I am. Tian Guangming started to diss as the monk was the only person around. The monk's face turned black and he chided, you truly are a demon. You even say such open words. I came here today to kill you. What a joke. If you are not here to kill me, then did you really come to chase me because you like me? Tian Guangming said in disdain. I am going to rip apart your mouth. The eyes of the submitting tiger Luhan golden body monk shone sharply. He stepped forwards and got close to Tian Guangming to attack. Wait, before you kill me, can you tell me who you are? Tian Guangming stopped him and asked. Dalan Temple Damo House Grand Disciple, the protector of the submitting tiger Luhan golden body, Tian Mu. Tian Mu stared at Tian Guangming coldly. When you reach hell and they read out your sins, remember that a monk called Tian Mu killed you. Tian Mu's wrist shook and the submitting tiger Luhan golden body behind him started to move. Li Wuya, I will keep you in my space treasure. Tian Guangming's expression became solemn. Li Wuya nodded his head, good luck senior. Tian Guangming kept Li Wuya into his space treasure and faced Tian Mu alone. His body's aura shook and he slowly lifted up from the sand. A sunlight armor appeared on his body which was crystalline and gave off an unparalleled aura. Damo House Grand Disciple, protector of the submitting tiger Luhan golden body, let me see how strong you are. Let's hope you aren't turned to dust from just one fist of mine. Tian Guangming stepped into the air to face the enemy head-on. Hong! Sand spread out and started to fly around due to their auras. It was as if they had created a sandstorm. You really have big words, but that shouldn't be the confidence that someone at Legend Realm First Stage should have in front of me. Tian Mu laughed coldly. Do you know? Tian Guangming stared at Tian Mu and said. I hate monks. The monk I hate the most is called Heaven Heart. Tian Guangming hollered and his rage reached its peak. The aura around him was burning like incessant flames. He treated Tian Mu like Heaven Heart. A while ago, Heaven Heart stole his first position and that annoyed Tian Guangming. But since he did so with skill, he had no choice but to swallow that anger. Now, he treated Tian Mu as Heaven Heart and that rage was ignited right away. Explosion! Tian Guangming's body was saintly. He was now the son of light itself. He stepped 5 feet forwards and after those 5 steps, he punched. This punch caused the entire desert to shake. The ground 1,000 meters around started to vibrate violently. A really terrifying aura surged towards the monk. Tian Guangming struck proactively because he wanted to use his violent techniques to suppress that bald monk. Dong! At that moment, Tian Guangming's arms were like dragons, powerful and fierce. Would I, a Legend Realm Stage 6 martial monk, be afraid of you? Tian Mu hollered. Since even Tian Guangming dared to attack, he had no reason to retreat. Hong! Tian Mu waved his golden fist to receive Tian Guangming's attacks. Their fists clashed and gave out a loud thunder-like explosion. Both Tian Guangming, who was at Legend Realm Stage 1, and Tian Mu who was at Stage 6 took dozens of steps back. Dong 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 dong! The ground continued to shake and sand spread all about. How is that possible? Both of them looked at one another in shock. Tian Mu was shocked because a Stage 6 martial monk like him was actually on par with Tian Guangming. Tian Guangming was shocked because he took out all of his ability but was unable to beat him. I am still too weak. If Master was here, this person would probably be settled with just one sword energy. But I am on par with him. Tian Guangming, you really can't be satisfied with yourself. Tian Guangming warned himself. If Tian Mu knew what Tian Guangming was thinking, he would have definitely spat out blood. He would have even dragged Tian Guangming and battled him for 10 full days. You are actually so strong. Tian Mu's eyes opened wide and he said in disbelief. I am still too weak. It is my mistake that I didn't kill you with one fist. Tian Guangming acted cool and sighed. Tian Mu's face turned black and he hollered, I am really going to rip apart your mouth. Hong. In the next second, Tian Mu and his Luhan golden body merged together. With one step out, the mountains shook. Explosion. In the next moment, Tian Mu's strength increased by several times. Now, you are definitely going to die. Tian Mu laughed out loud. The submitting tiger Luhan golden body gave him absolute confidence. Tian Guangming's expression didn't change and he even laughed coldly, do you think I don't have a trump card either? Whatever it is, it doesn't stand a chance in front of me. Tian Mu hollered. His body was like lightning that shot forwards. He clenched his fists and slammed down. Hong! The entire sky was about to be shattered from the astonishing power. If this hit Tian Guangming, and if he didn't die, he would become handicapped. But would Tian Guangming give him a chance? Heaven Emperor Brush. At that moment, Tian Guangming took out the celestial artifact that Li Xiandao had given him. This was his trump card. He wouldn't use it to train himself up. He definitely wouldn't simply take it out either. Explosion. With the Heaven Emperor brush taken out, it gave out a bright light that was extremely eye-catching. It was just the size of Tian Guangming's forearm but contained terrifying powers. Stop! Heaven Emperor brush wrote a word in the air and the surrounding space froze. Everything stopped like a still image that filled one with disbelief. Tian Mu's submitting tiger Luhan golden body was about to smash down but was pinned in mid-air. He opened his eyes wide and looked over in shock. Celestial artifact. You actually have a celestial artifact, he was about to spit out blood. They were having a good fight but he suddenly took out a celestial artifact. What a cheater! Chapter 217, Tian Guangming's Rage. Heaven Emperor brush froze space. A celestial artifact was something that was passed on from ancient times. Any usage of it would cause mountains and rivers to shift and would make all living beings silent. Space froze like ice and even Tian Mu stopped moving. His body trembled and he tried his best to struggle but he was still unable to break free from it. Both Heaven Emperor Brush's strength and all of Tian Guangming's powers were activated at the same time. Using it once would require large amounts of energy. The use of the Heaven Emperor Brush instantly sucked Tian Guangming dry. If he was unable to suppress the exploding power, then Tian Guangming could forget about fighting at all. I told you that I hated monks with the name Tian. All of you can die. Tian Guangming laughed coldly. With just a thought, the Heaven Emperor brush moved like a dragon in the air and wrote a death word. One huge death word terrified Tian Mu so much that his expression changed. All the energy in his body was surging. Explosion. One could clearly see that Tian Mu's body was about to burn. The true chi was like flames burning bright but he was just unable to break free. Dong. In the next second, Heaven Emperor Brush's attack descended. Death arrived as ordered. Tian Mu's eyes opened wide and it was all blood-stained as he looked on in terror. He didn't want to die. He was the grand disciple of Damo House and the future first seat, he might even have had flown up to the 9 skies. How could he die here? How could he die to a piece of trash like Tian Guangming? Tian Mu looked towards Tian Guangming with reluctance and grievance as Tian Guangming smiled at him. Wide smile. That was an annoying smile. Tian Guangming smiled while saying, if you hadn't tried to come and kill me, then everything would have been fine. Unfortunately, you chose to come to kill me. Tian Mu was so furious that he nearly spat out blood. He looked at Tian Guangming with hate. If looks could kill, Tian Guangming would have already died several times. Unfortunately, Tian Guangming was still well and truly alive. As for Tian Mu, after the death word landed, he tried to struggle but was still unable to break free. Kaka. In the next second, his gaze dimmed. The blood in it retreated and his aura became lighter and lighter before it scattered. He was dead. He died from a single word attack of the Heaven Emperor Brush. Hong. After Tian Mu died, Heaven Emperor Brush was devoid of energy and fell to Tian Guangming's hands. The surrounding sky shattered like that of a mirror. Tian Mu's body fell from the sky and Tian Guangming quickly stood far away from it, afraid that it would smash into him. At the moment, Tian Guangming was left with only a few threads of true qi. He had no more fighting strength left. He would need around 10 more days to fully recover. This was also the reason why Tian Guangming didn't want to use the Heaven Emperor brush. It consumed too much. One strike sucked dry all of his energy. If he tried to use it once more, Tian Guangming really didn't know what would happen. I caused such a huge commotion. It is best if we just leave. Tian Guangming's body went soft and he started to flee. After killing Tian Mu, Tian Guangming didn't bother about the treasures in his corpse. That was because he knew that Tian Mu wasn't the only monk sent to kill him. The appearance of the celestial artifact could be sensed 1,000 miles away. If Tian Guangming wasted time and the other monks caught up to him, that would be a problem. The best plan was still to leave. Tian Guangming was smart and while running, he used his last bit of energy to contact Li Xiandao. Master, save me! Tian Guangming cried out tragically. He sounded really sad and when one heard it, one would be touched to tears. Hearing his voice alone just made one sad. Unfortunately, Li Xiandao was looking at all this over from the bank of the universe. Although Tian Guangming was weak, he was still alive. As he was afraid of being found, he actually climbed to a dark portion of the sand dunes to bury himself. Only half a head was revealed outside. Tian Guangming was really afraid of dying. I have already sent people to save you. Li Xiandao sat on the chair and said calmly. Don't tell me it is Heaven Heart. That bald camel wishes for my death. Master, you have to tell him to hurry up. Tian Guangming cried out. He had been fighting bald monks these few days and that caused him to have zero trust in all of them. Shut up. If you continue to lay there, then you can prepare to die. You better rush towards the world barrier. Li Xiandao frowned and said. Tian Guangming immediately climbed up, shaking off the sand on his body and saying emotionally, Master, don't worry. I will listen to you and rush to the world barrier. Li Xiandao ended the conversation with Tian Guangming. He closed his eyes and who knew what he was thinking about? In the endless desert, Tian Guangming couldn't fly anymore, he could only run. Luckily, ancient Buddha land had thick spiritual energy. He absorbed it and injected it into his legs to speed him up. Although it wasn't as quick as flying, it was still quite fast. Just like that, Tian Guangming rushed. Who knew how long passed but his throat felt dry. He looked up to the blistering sun and still couldn't see past all the desert ahead of him. Tian Guangming just wanted to stop and have a short rest. But in the next second, there was a loud explosion. A giant monk holding a demon-crushing pestle smashed down. Explosion! The sand around him shook and flew dozens of meters into the air. Tian Guangming flew up too and hit the ground, dust and sand covering his face. Pooey pooey pooey! Tian Guangming spat out the sand in his mouth and frowned as he looked at the monk. Damn, yet another monk! Tian Guangming couldn't help but curse. Did he have problems with monks in his last life? Damo House Tianqi is here to kill the demon. The monk was really determined and his aura was terrifying. He didn't seem like a mortal and was even stronger than Tian Mu. Tian Guangming looked around and asked curiously, How did you find me? Tianqi looked at Tian Guangming in rage and laughed coldly, The demonic energy on your body is too thick. You have killed so many Dalan temple monks and are such a vicious person. Vicious your head, they were the ones who tried to kill me. All of them treated me like weaklings, so I destroyed them. You say that I have thick demonic energy. Tian Guangming was so furious and he couldn't help but curse him. Hong! After Tian Guangming cursed, a true Qi golden dragon flew over from the distant sky. On it was a cold-looking Luhan. Dragon descending Luhan golden body monk was here. He came here to take revenge for submitting Tiger Luhan golden body Tian Mu. Explosion! The aura he gave off when landing was extremely terrifying, sweeping aside thousands of meters of sand and forming a desert storm. The demon has to die. The dragon descending Luhan golden body monk hollered. Pang! In this sandstorm, 7 other Legend Realm Buddhist experts appeared to surround Tian Guangming. Each of them was really cold as they stared at Tian Guangming, wanting to slice him up into pieces. Damn, you actually sent so many people just to kill me. Tian Guangming felt despair and couldn't help but scold them. Chapter 218, Chop him to death. Tian Guangming was totally surrounded by enemies. 9 Legend Realm monks cut off any escape route of his. He didn't have much true qi left and his body was empty. Tian Guangming could only look at them in despair. Where were Heavenheart and the others? He had no more hope. He could only wait for death. Tian Guangming sat in the sand and said in despair, "You can kill me but don't insult me. I want to maintain my pure and clean body to serve my master in my next life." "Master." As he was about to kill Tian Guangming, Tianke's expression changed and he asked solemnly. To let a Legend Realm person willingly call him master and want to continue serving him in the next life, how charming did that person have to be? How strong was that person? 9 Legend Realm monks all frowned as they looked on, temporarily shelving the thought of killing Tian Guangming. Anyway, Tian Guangming was already theirs and they could take him down anytime. They weren't in a rush to kill him. "Who is your master?" Tianke asked seriously. They weren't afraid of the master behind Tian Guangming. Who was Dalan Temple, the people who ruled ancient Buddha land for 10,000 years, afraid of? In these 10 lands, there was no one they were afraid of. The reason they asked was because they wanted to understand who was behind Tian Guangming. When the time came, they would take them all down. "My master." Tian Guangming suddenly grinned and said respectfully. "My master is the strongest person in my heart. All of you can't even block one strike from his sword energy." Tian Guangming said confidently. "Preposterous. I am Legend Realm Stage 10. Even if your master is Stage 33 he would find it tough to do so." Dragon Descending Luhan Golden Body Monk burst out laughing and said in disdain. Tian Guangming could wait for death and allow others to kill him but he didn't allow others to insult his master. "What do you know? My master's sword is like that of a god, no one in your Dalan temple can block it." Tian Guangming said in disdain. "This sounds more and more preposterous. Since you speak so highly of your master, then why isn't he coming to save you?" Tianke laughed coldly and didn't believe those words at all. "Master didn't come but we did." At that point, a cold mature voice spread forth. That along with a silver moon which descended in the bright sky. Hong! That strike was just so terrifying. All the 9 Legend Realm monks retreated and looked on in disbelief. They didn't dare to take on a strike from a celestial artifact. Tian Guangming saw that and his eyes opened wide. He muttered, "You are my savior, you goddess." He was met with Moon Angel's fierce kick right into his butt. "No!" Tian Guangming shouted in terror and his body flew far away uncontrollably. Right as he was about to smash into the ground, he headed into an embrace. "No!" Tian Guangming saw that face and objected. He didn't want to accept that hug. But he had no choice. Putong! A man fell into the embrace of a monk. It was even a princess hug. Heaven Heart looked at Tian Guangming and said gently, "Tian Guangming, are you okay?" Tian Guangming blinked and said in embarrassment, "Place me down." Heaven Heart released his hands. "Pata!" Tian Guangming fell to the ground. "Monk you!" Tian Guangming pointed at Heaven Heart in rage. "What?" Heaven Heart asked before turning around and leaving. Tian Guangming swallowed his anger and lifted a thumb, "Good job monk, I am thankful for you." "Tian Guangming, your expression doesn't look like one of thanks. It looks like you want to rip me up." Heaven Heart asked curiously. "Monk don't ask for too much." Tian Guangming squinted. "It seems like I need to toss you back to the other monks." Heaven Heart said casually. Tian Guangming was speechless and forced a kind expression, "Monk, you are the best in the world. I really respect you and thank you for saving my life." Heaven Heart was satisfied, "You don't have to thank me like that. All of this is just so simple. After all, you are too weak and you will have many more chances to thank me." Heaven Heart said emotionally. Tian Guangming's expression turned dark and he really wanted to raise his fists and fight Heaven Heart to the death. Lucifer looked at the 2 childish people and was expressionless. He then turned towards Moon Angel who was about to clash with the monk with the dragon descending Luhan golden body. With full moon in hand, Moon Angel was invincible. She herself was at Legend Realm and broke through earlier than Tian Guangming. She was around Stage 3 now. Legend Realm Stage 3 along with Celestial Artifact Full Moon gave her a high chance of killing others who were stronger than her. Full Moon and Heaven Emperor Brush was different. Heaven Emperor Brush was a form Celestial Artifact that needed huge energy for each strike. Full Moon was a weapon Celestial Artifact. Even if one didn't activate its strength, just the weapon itself could shatter all other normal weapons. This was why Moon Angel didn't bother to activate it and just used Full Moon as a weapon. Only when she was in a tough situation would she activate Full Moon's ability, allowing it to absorb her energy to increase strength. The monk with the dragon descending Luhan golden body stared at Moon Angel in rage. Especially after Moon Angel saved Tian Guangming, he said furiously, "You are on the same side as that demon." Moon Angel said regretfully, "Although I don't want to admit it, I have no choice. We are on the same side. If he is a demon, then you are a witch." The monk with the dragon descending Luhan golden body hollered. Moon Angel frowned. Her pure body perfectly grabbed full moon. Like a moon rising up from behind her back, it was extremely beautiful and majestic. "Apart from demon and witch, don't you know any other words?" Moon Angel asked coldly. "Where are all of you from?" Tianke frowned and asked. He couldn't suppress the rage in his heart anymore. The other monks looked on angrily. Some even started to head towards Lucifer and Tian Guangming. "You don't need to know. The only thing you need to know is that you can't kill that scum." Moon Angel said calmly. "Can't the 9 of us kill 4 of you? Even one of you is useless." The monk with the dragon descending Luhan golden body said. His voice reverberated through the sky. At the same time, the dragon body behind him roared. Kong! Moon Angel slowly pulled out full moon. A silver moon slowly descended. Tian Guangming was totally confused. "Who did you call useless?" "Not me," Lucifer said decisively. "Not me either," Heavenheart added. Tian Guangming looked at them and frowned. He looked at the monk with dragon descending Luhan golden body and hollered, "Goddess, kill him for me." Chapter 219, Are all of you so strong? Moon Angel spun around. Her true chi was like moonlight, constantly exploding out. Keng keng keng. With full moon in hand, Moon Angel wasn't afraid of anything. She instantly appeared up close, holding the 2 corners of full moon and the crescent blade in the middle slashed down viciously. Dragon descending Luhan golden body. The monk hollered. He merged with his dragon descending Luhan golden body and attacked. "My golden body, be it offense or defense, it is the top in the world." The monk was really confident. True chi boiled like adding timber to the fire. He rode the golden dragon and attacked Moon Angel. Time blade slash. Moon Angel's crescent blade slashed forwards and in mid-air she twisted her body to strike down. She didn't show any fear in fighting the golden dragon. "Swallow her." The monk who had merged together with the golden dragon opened the giant dragon mouth to cover her. He wanted to swallow Moon Angel in one mouth and refine her in the stomach. When Moon Angel saw this, her expression didn't change at all. She held onto full moon and went head first onto the attack. Kaka! Full moon's sharpness exceeded what anyone present had thought. Full moon directly slashed the golden dragon into 2, not giving it a chance to swallow her at all. Explosion! The golden dragon was split into 2 and the strength of full moon actually had a 3-second delay before it exploded. The monk directly flew out from the dragon descending Luhan golden body. His body trembled as he smashed into the sand. Moon Angel's strike killed a Legend Realm Stage 10 expert and also shattered his golden dragon at the same time. The area around was totally silent. "All of you are too weak and are no match for me," Moon Angel said coldly. She turned around and looked at the other monks. At that moment, the remaining 8 monks looked at one another and didn't know what to do. How were they to fight? A Legend Realm Stage 10 expert wasn't able to block a single blade. If they tried to fight back, they would definitely get killed. Moon Angel walked towards them. With full moon in her hand, she was really calm. She pointed at all of them, "You can all attack together." Moon Angel alone would face the 8 of them. "Damn, this woman is so arrogant because she has a celestial artifact." A monk raged. The celestial artifact in this woman's hands is amazing and the golden body was sliced apart in just a second. A monk frowned. "Don't worry, I have informed the Dalan temple head. He told us to delay them and the seniors would be coming immediately." A monk said. The other 7 of them were pumped up as they were all hopeful. Since the Dalan temple head had said that, it meant that reinforcements would come quickly. Tianke stepped out and looked at Moon Angel. He asked, "Is the moon-like blade you are holding a celestial artifact?" Moon Angel smiled and she gave off vibe of a mature woman. "Before we fought, you called me a witch. Now, you changed what you called me." As expected, guys always change. Even monks are different. Tianke's face turned red. Facing such a mature woman like Moon Angel, he had too little experience. In the distance, Tian Guangming looked on with a weird expression. Why have they ended up flirting instead of fighting? "Shua!" Moon Angel glanced at him coldly. Her stare terrified Tian Guangming so much that he closed his mouth. Lucifer said calmly, we should really sew up your mouth. Heavenheart nodded, right. Why aren't the two of you killing these monks? What are you doing here? Tian Guangming questioned. You can't order me. Lucifer said coldly. The guest that master wants is in my space treasure. If master blames us for wasting time, you will take the blame. Tian Guangming shouted. Shua. Lucifer's body flashed like lightning and he appeared in front of Tianqi. Die. Lucifer was really violent. He was also really quick and didn't want to waste time at all. Wasn't the proper method to stab all the way in, release essence, and pull out? Why waste so much time? Something that could end in one shot, why did one have to bicker and have so many back and forths? To Lucifer, that was just foolish. Slice. Lucifer's clean strike caught him off guard. Just like that, his head was sliced off and he was dead. Tianqi died to Lucifer in such a tragic way. Moon Angel frowned. She was going to ask what Dalan Temple was planning. Now, it seemed like she didn't have the chance. Kill. Moon Angel held full moon and started to kill. The remaining 7 monks all trembled. This was just too much. All of them were legend realm. Their cultivation was even higher than them, but they could instantly kill them? How did that make sense? Slice. This bunch of monks who were around legend stage 10 were obviously no match for Moon Angel and Lucifer. Could they fight using weapons? Moon Angel had a celestial artifact, so no matter what they used, one blade would shatter it. In terms of cultivation, Lucifer's cultivation was so immense. Even if he was at Legend Realm Stage 4, his strength could even beat someone at Stage 15. This was because of his special body. With his cultivation increasing, the light and darkness body would become stronger and stronger. In the end, when the light and darkness body reached its peak strength, he would instantly drown all enemies. At the moment, Lucifer was working towards this goal. He blocked 4 monks alone and with just a palm strike, ended all of them. Explosion. There was an explosion in the air that was extremely loud and reverberated all around. A black and white intersecting image covered the 4 monks. Darkness, endless darkness. Light, unlimited amounts of light. There were only 2 colors. In Lucifer's domain, they could only see black and white. They couldn't see anyone at all. Kill. Lucifer shot out a killing energy that instantly shook the 4 of them. They attacked without any hesitation in any location that felt a little off. Explosion. The 4 monks were just a few hundred meters away from each other, but they couldn't see one another. Their senses were all blinded because they were nervous and they just instinctively attacked the people around them. Lucifer looked on as they killed one another. Lucifer didn't care about people lower than stage 10 and he killed them like they were dogs. In just a while, the 4 monks died, but even up until the moment of death they had no idea and thought that Lucifer would kill them. On the other side, Moon Angel killed the few remaining monks. She walked over and her eyes turned white. Boring games. How is it boring looking at them kill one another? Lucifer asked. Keek. Moon Angel laughed coldly and didn't want to say anything. Let's go, we need to rush back. Master is waiting for us. Heavenheart said to Tian Guangming. Are all of you so strong? Tian Guangming asked a question that came from deep in his heart. He was trying his best to cultivate, but why did it look like he couldn't compare to these 3 overpowered people? Chapter 220, Randomly Becoming a Master Out of Nowhere. It isn't that we are strong but that you are too weak. Moon Angel walked over and said without any change of expression. Tian Guangming's face turned black and he didn't say anything. Perfect answer. Heavenheart looked on at Tian Guangming's baffled expression. Tian Guangming scoffed coldly and stopped arguing with them. He took out the Heaven Emperor brush and used the true chi he had just recovered to activate the space within. Putong. Li Wuya fell out and looked around with a stunned expression. He looked at the weak Tian Guangming and asked with concern, Senior, are you okay? Tian Guangming waved his hands, Don't worry, I won't die. It isn't much. It is good that you are fine. I am sorry. All of this is because of me. Li Wuya looked at the weak Tian Guangming with guilt and tears appeared in his eyes. No matter how strong and no matter how good he was at faking, Li Wuya came from a broken family. His parents and family members had all been killed and he was just a 10-year-old who was suffering in the world. If the watch hadn't saved him, he would have died long ago. Either that or he would have been captured and locked under the slaughter tower, never to see the light of day ever again. To live, he snatched food from people like a stray dog. He became a beggar and lived together with the watch. The watch told Li Wei that there was a place called the Bank of the Universe that had sent someone to save him. From then on, Li Wei treated the Bank of the Universe and the people they sent as his savior. Then, when he was stopped at the entrance of the city, when he was at his most desperate, Tian Guangming landed from the sky. He killed several monks at once and saved his life. At that moment, he felt that Tian Guangming was his hero. Tian Guangming brought him to eat and flee and even killed many at East Penglai Road. He then brought him into the desert to have a disgusting barbecue. And now, to save him, Tian Guangming was exhausted and laid to the side. Li Wei was really touched. He cried and hugged Tian Guangming, tears flowing onto Tian Guangming's clothes. "Eyes, why are you crying? You are so old already. It is not good to cry." Tian Guangming was stunned. He had never faced such a situation. A kid crying and hugging him and saying such warm words. That kid even wiped his own tears and mucus on his body. Tian Guangming wanted to rage but he didn't know how to rage. He knew about Li Wei's treatment. It was really difficult for a 10-year-old kid to silently accept all of this. But when Tian Guangming consoled Li Wei, he cried even more and that really caught Tian Guangming off guard. "Stop looking, help me." Tian Guangming looked at Heaven Heart. "I don't like kids." Heaven Heart rejected. "Dead bald camel." Tian Guangming cursed and looked towards Lucifer. "Do I look like someone who knows how to console people?" Lucifer said coldly. Tian Guangming looked at Moon Angel helplessly. "Moon Angel, do you mind having a kid?" Tian Guangming said. Moon Angel wanted to help as she pitied Li Wei. But when Tian Guangming said that, she turned around and left. Her butt twisted left and right and her long legs moved forwards into the distance. "No East Om. Please." Tian Guangming was filled with regret. He really didn't know what to say. "Don't cry. What must I do so that you won't cry?" Tian Guangming helplessly grabbed Li Wei and asked. "Place me down." Li Wei said with a hoarse voice. Tian Guangming placed Li Wei down. "Putong." Li Wei knelt down right away and shouted, "Master, disciple Li Wei greets you." Tian Guangming was stunned. He was here to complete a mission. Not to get a disciple. Why had he suddenly gotten a disciple out of nowhere? Heaven Heart looked at him and praised, "This kid is very smart." "He isn't. If he was as dumb as Tian Guangming he wouldn't have survived until now." Lucifer said calmly. "That might really be the case. If he was as dumb as Tian Guangming he would have died many times." Moon Angel nodded in agreement. Tian Guangming was in a pickle and couldn't say it out loud. Li Wei was sticking to him and he had no choice but to agree. The most important thing was that Tian Guangming couldn't beat him up. He liked the kid and this kid was really warm too. Of course, the key was that Li Wei was Li Xiandao's guest. Since he was his master's guest, naturally he couldn't beat him up. Tian Guangming didn't know what he had to do. "Go beg that bald monk to be your master. His cultivation is high and he is also really cunning. He looks kind but he is quite strong at fighting. He will definitely take you as his disciple." Tian Guangming pointed at Heaven Heart and said. Heaven Heart didn't want to argue. He also wanted to see whether or not Li Wei wanted to find him as his master. "No, I just like you," Li Wei said firmly. He didn't even bother to look at Heaven Heart. Heaven Heart praised, "Smart kid," he knew that he couldn't hesitate. Tian Guangming is really going to get a son. Lucifer grinned. A master is like a father. As long as Tian Guangming nodded, he would end up having a son. It was quite worth it. Anyway, Tian Guangming liked green too. "Then, you can choose this cold person. I can't even beat him." Tian Guangming went to promote Lucifer. Lucifer looked on coldly and didn't say anything. "No, I just want you as my master," Li Wei said. Tian Guangming took in a deep breath and said, "It seems like I need to introduce my goddess to you. Go ask Moon Angel. She is as beautiful as a fairy in the Moon Palace. After you become her disciple, you will be able to learn a lot." "Forget it, I don't want to have such an old son even before getting married." Yuzuna rejected right away. Tian Guangming's face froze. The two others didn't reject him, so why did you reject him? You didn't want such an old son, but I didn't want one either. A disciple was so problematic. Tian Guangming also didn't have confidence in becoming a good master. Master, please accept my bow. Li Wei called out loudly. He lifted his hands up high and bowed. Tian Guangming really didn't know how to reply. Can you be quick? Heaven Heart dissed Tian Guangming. Wasn't he decisive usually? Why was he hesitating now? Tian Guangming stared at Heaven Heart. This bald camel had such bad intentions and just wanted him to place more of a burden on him so that he could laugh at him. Lucifer said coldly, "You are wasting time. If Dalan Temple sends its experts, you will be the first to die." Tian Guangming's face turned black. This cold ice block was helping Li Wei. "I will take you. Get up." Tian Guangming was helpless and could only reluctantly nod in agreement. For no reason at all, he had one more disciple. It was like becoming a father. Tian Guangming felt really complicated. Chapter 221, 9 dead, 1 alive. Tian Guangming accepted Li Wei in the end. Li Wei was delighted. A happy smile appeared on his small face. It was a really sincere smile that came from the bottom of his heart. Since his family had been wiped out, Li Wei never felt happy. Looking at Li Wei's happy face, Tian Guangming accepted this face. He had one more disciple. A disciple that would kowtow and bow to him. Tian Guangming decided to nurture him well and allow him to grow up. At the very least, he couldn't let him ruin his reputation. They all set off. As Tian Guangming's body was empty, Lucifer and Moon Angel carried him. The two of them used their true qi, each lifting one leg to carry him up. He was so furious that he cursed. Were they bullying him? Weren't they bullying him because he was devoid of energy in his body? If they had the skill, then why didn't they carry him like that when his body was full of energy? Tian Guangming wanted to curse. "If you dare to say anything, then I will throw you down," Moon Angel said coldly. He sensed power disappearing from his leg, so Tian Guangming decisively kept quiet. He would just fly upside down then. Anyway, the scenery looked much better. He could see the bald head under him and also his disciple Li Wei. Li Wei was carried by Heaven Heart. With one step, a large amount of land disappeared from under them. Heaven Heart was extremely quick. He wasn't slower than any of them who were flying, he was even a little quicker. Li Wei looked on in shock at how the large area was being shrunk and crossed. This person was much stronger than my master. He looked at Lucifer and Moon Angel Yuzuna flying above and Li Wei suddenly realized a serious problem. His master seemed like the weakest out of this group of people. They all flew and got closer and closer to the world barrier. 2 days later, Tian Guangming recovered some energy and could fly by himself. Right away, he chose to fly by himself instead of flying upside down. It was best if people relied on themselves. This was something that Tian Guangming comprehended after 2 days of flying upside down. They officially exited the desert after a night and saw the beautiful mountains. "I like the feeling of stepping on land," Tian Guangming said as he stepped on the ground. This was much firmer than stepping on the soft sand. The other people nodded their heads. Even Moon Angel and Lucifer, who were flying, decided to come down and step on the ground. After sensing it for a while, they started to leave the place. "We are half a day away from the world barrier." Tian Guangming was delighted. This time, he would definitely be rewarded when he returned. After all, he risked his life to protect Li Wei. He protected him so well that he became his disciple. They had journeyed for half a day, but when they arrived at the barrier, they were welcomed not by an empty barrier, but a thin, bald man. This bald man sat by the road and muttered some scriptures. Although he looked quite terrifying, the aura he gave off was gentle. One couldn't help but think that he was a grand master. Some people were just born with such an aura. At first, Tian Guangming and the others didn't care about the old monk. The world barrier was huge and it was normal to ignore an old monk with gentle aura sitting at the corner. This was when Heaven Heart realized that something was off. He looked at the old monk and didn't move. The old monk looked at Heaven Heart and his eyes shone bright, which Heaven Heart found hard to bear. Only by believing in oneself would one not be shaken. This was an old monk whose mental strength was terrifyingly strong. Heaven Heart was the first to notice this and he stopped. Moon Angel and Lucifer stopped too after realizing that something was wrong. All of them stared at the old monk and their expressions became solemn. Only Tian Guangming and Li Wei continued to walk as they didn't notice that something was off. Li Wei's cultivation was low, so he didn't notice anything. Tian Guangming's cultivation was low too, so he didn't sense it. But the difference was that Li Wei could be forgiven. Tian Guangming was just trash. Why are you moving? After dozens of steps, Tian Guangming realized that something was wrong and he asked curiously. He looked around and saw the old monk. His heart jumped. Was he a Dalan Temple monk? Tian Guangming had trauma. Apart from Heaven Heart, he felt that any monk was from Dalan Temple. That he was here to kill him and snatch his disciple. Although Tian Guangming often guessed wrongly, he was right this time. I have waited a long time for all of you. The monk stood up. He held a bunch of Buddhist pearls in his hands and said. Monk, we don't know each other, so why should you wait for me? Goodbye. Tian Guangming dragged Li Wuya and wanted to run. Son of the demon and the person who calls himself the demon ancestor has killed so many Dalan Temple people. Do you think we can just shelf the matter like that? The old monk laughed coldly. Heaven Heart and the other two formed a triangle to protect Tian Guangming and Li Wuya. They stared at the old monk. If he tried anything, they would attack without hesitation. But now, if the enemy didn't move, they wouldn't move either. Is there something wrong with your Dalan Temple? My disciple is just 10 years old and you say that he is the son of the demon. What stupid master prophesied that? Why did that person say that a newborn is the devil? You are really stupid. Tian Guangming cursed. The old monk's face sunk as he walked towards Tian Guangming. His footsteps were really gentle. I am the person you are talking about. Tian Guangming's face froze. Heaven Heart coughed, that. The ignorant is innocent. Since you know how to prophesize, did you prophesize this situation? Lucifer asked coldly. I did. The monk nodded. What was the outcome? Lucifer asked. 90% chance of death. The old monk said calmly without a care at all. Is it you with a 90% chance of death, or us? Heaven Heart asked. Did you even have to ask that? Of course, it is us with a 90% chance of death. The three of you surrounded him and didn't dare to attack. From just that alone, we can tell how terrifying he is. Tian Guangming said in despair. Shut up. Heaven Heart frowned and chided. Tian Guangming decided to keep silent. It is me with a 90% chance of death. The monk said. Tian Guangming looked at the old monk in shock. The others looked at him in shock too. Since that is the case, then why are you still here? Heaven Heart frowned. All of you are too weak and are no match for me, so I wanted to take a look at who it is who can make my divination turn to a 90% chance of death. The monk stepped forwards. His dry body became full and was exuding a majestic aura. Chapter 222, World Crossing. The old monk had prophesied several times for himself with Buddhist techniques to peek into his destiny. He saw it a total of 9 times. All 9 outcomes revealed his own death. He would die quietly in front of the world barrier. There was no exception. The old monk was surprised by his divinations. Were there people in ancient Buddha land who could kill him? The answer was no. The old monk knew that this person definitely came from another world. After dying 9 times, I stopped because it was pointless. The old monk kept his last chance for himself. He didn't want to see it anymore. Moreover, he was certain that he won the last time. That was why he came. He came to the place where he died 9 times at and waited quietly. He sat there alone and waited for Tian Guangming and his group to arrive. Now, they had finally arrived. But he was slightly disappointed. Heaven Heart was strong, but to the old monk, his intelligence was in his intellect. Heaven Heart made his own path, able to merge the Buddha and the devil in one body. As long as he continued to train, his potential was limitless. But at the moment, Heaven Heart was just too young in his eyes. Lucifer had a special body and limitless potential, but unfortunately, this was too soon. Moon Angel was the weakest of the 3, but because of the celestial artifact, the old monk showed her some respect. Tian Guangming. Trash. Li Wuya, the son of the demon, would be the future leader of the demon path. The old monk prophesied and saw that when Li Wuya grew up, he would hold a demonic blade and start a massacre in Dalan Temple. He would wipe out Dalan Temple, so he had to get rid of the kid. If he didn't get rid of Li Wuya, then Dalan Temple would weaken and fall. Due to this point, the old monk decided to attack Li Wuya's family. This was why he tried so hard to capture Li Wuya and suppress him under the slaughter tower to turn all his chances into dust. As for that bit of God Spirit Meridian, the old monk didn't care about that at all. Dalan Temple did control half of the ancient Buddha land's resources. Of course, the old monk wouldn't explain that. The only thing he did was raise his aura to the peak. His dry body filled up, and in that moment, he went from someone as dry as wood to a strong, 45-year-old man. This was the old monk's peak. He stared at Heavenheart and the others and said calmly, "All of you can leave and I won't question anything and will act as if nothing has happened as long as you hand over this son of the demon path and this trash demon ancestor to me." Tian Guangming felt really bad that people were calling him trash. He was hurt. Heavenheart shook his head and said regretfully, "If you only want the demon ancestor, then we will leave without hesitation, but we can't give you the kid." Li Wuya was the guest that Li Xiandao wanted. They only came to ancient Buddha land because of him. They only conflicted with Dalan Temple because of him, and they were blocked by this old monk because of it. They could give up Tian Guangming but not Li Wuya. Tian Guangming was speechless as he looked at Heavenheart. These monks were really despicable and scheming people. "I don't know why the heavens would give such a divination, but all of you can't stop me." The old monk stepped out and his aura pressed down like a mountain. Hong! His gaze was ice cold as he stared at Heavenheart. "Since you don't know, then why are you sure that he is the son of the demon path?" Heavenheart stared at the origin of the pressure, gritting his teeth as he asked. He tried his best to prevent his legs from going soft. This old monk's strength exceeded their expectations. He definitely wasn't legend stage 30. Maybe he was already at the peak? I personally witnessed him bringing an army to wipe out my Dalan temple. The old monk stared at Li Wuya in astonishment. Explosion! The old monk's aura went even more berserk and he suppressed everyone. Tian Guangming gritted his teeth and helped Li Wuya resist the pressure. Li Wuya was so frightened that he hid behind Tian Guangming. He was afraid to stick his head out. "What you see might not be true." Heavenheart gritted his teeth to resist the pressure. "What you see might not be true, but I also need to wipe out all possibilities." The old monk pointed at Li Wuya coldly. "This kid is the son of the demon path. His body has thick demonic blood, and if he cultivated demonic techniques, he would be extremely quick. Such a person hates Dalan Temple to the bone, so I won't give him any chance at all." The old monk was really stubborn. Maybe as he personally saw the future, suppressing Li Wuya became an obsession of his. He didn't dare to kill Li Wuya as he was afraid that he would use some demonic technique to escape. Only capturing him and suppressing him under the slaughter tower could put him at ease. Heavenheart sighed, "Is there no room for discussion? I am not discussing with you. I am telling you that this demon old ancestor has to die. I am taking this kid back and suppressing him under the slaughter tower." The old monk said coldly. "Attack together." Heavenheart knew that words were useless, so he hollered. He was the first to attack. A Buddha and a demon appeared at the same time and merged together. The aura split apart the clouds and he actually reached Legend Realm Stage 8. Heavenheart's improvement was the quickest. Since he comprehended the demon and Buddha body, his cultivation speed was even faster than Lucifer and the others with the primordial divinity. Explosion! He had Legend Realm Stage 8 cultivation, but his aura was more like Stage 18. With the merger of the Buddha and the Devil, gold and black intersected with one another as his strength exploded forwards. Heavenheart pressed down with his palm, forcing the old monk away. "You are really decent, but this is still too weak." The old monk laughed coldly and stomped down. Hong! The area 1,000 meters around totally collapsed. An aggressive aura charged out and forced Heavenheart back. Moon Tooth Slash! Moon Angel slashed forward with full moon in hand. The blade was really sharp and definitely could slice apart the old monk's body. Scram! The old monk knew that the celestial artifact was really strong, so he didn't dare to be careless. He struck forwards with a single palm. Explosion! The raging palm power exploded. He flung Moon Angel backward even before full moon got close. Kill! Lucifer in his light and darkness body was here. He formed a light and dark space that wanted to trap the old monk within. "Your space is not bad, but this gap in strength is still too huge. I can easily rip it apart." The old monk coldly ripped open space and walked out. He looked coldly at Lucifer. Pang! Just one punch caused Lucifer to fly backward. He spat out mouthfuls of blood in disbelief. "All of you are too weak. It seems like my divination was wrong." The old man said calmly and didn't know whether to feel fortunate or regretful. "You weren't wrong. You have a 90% chance of dying here." At that point, a powerful voice rang out. "The person who came." Tian Guangming looked on in surprise. Lucifer smiled. Heavenheart exhaled in relief. Moon Angel's eyes shone with excitement. The old monk sucked in a deep cold breath as he looked at that person. Chapter 223, I am going to kill you 3 times. After the old monk defeated Heavenheart and the other 2, a hole appeared in the world barrier. A person slowly stepped into ancient Buddha land. He was wearing a purple-colored robe. He was wearing a mask. The exposed eyes were filled with coldness and it made one afraid to stare into them. Xiandao had crossed worlds. He thought that Heavenheart and the others could settle this, but who knew that an old monk would appear and spoil Xiandao's plan? He was forced to appear himself. Master! Tian Guangming shouted emotionally. They all treat me like trash. You have to fight for me. Tian Guangming looked like a bullied kid crying to his parents. He couldn't help but complain. Li Wuya looked on curiously. This mysterious person was his master's master? Heavenheart, Lucifer, Moon Angel all shouted emotionally, Master! Xiandao straightened his back and nodded towards them. He looked at the old monk with a calm gaze and asked, Are you having fun beating up my men? The old monk stared at Xiandao and grinned, It seems like you are abnormal in the divination. You have finally revealed yourself. You were so eager in wanting me to appear. Are you just eager to die? Xiandao asked and spoke with a cold gaze. In the Bank of the Universe, Xiandao had been staring at the situation. He continued to glance when he was rushing, and naturally, he knew about everything that had happened. We haven't even fought, so why do you know that I lost? The old monk laughed coldly and didn't want to back down. Xiandao walked over to Tian Guangming, I admire your confidence, but you need strength to support that confidence. You injured 3 of my subordinates, so I shall kill you 3 times today. Ha ha ha, kill me 3 times? Are you still dreaming? The old monk was so furious he started laughing. Do you think that is not possible? Xiandao asked him. His gaze was calm like a deep fountain. It was silent and peaceful. If you really can kill me 3 times, then I would have really seen a ghost. The old monk burst into laughter. Is that so? Xiandao didn't bother to reply. Your cultivation isn't low, but you shouldn't be over stage 33. I am at stage 33 and have spent 5,000 years in this realm. What gives you the right to say that you will kill me 3 times? The old monk stared at Xiandao and laughed coldly. He didn't believe that Xiandao could kill him 3 times. He probably couldn't even kill him once. Xiandao lifted a hand. His long fingers were white as jade and even more tender and smooth than a woman's hand. He closed his fingers like a sword and pointed at Xiandao, I will kill you like how one slaughters a chicken or a dog. Do you believe how easy it will be? The old monk laughed coldly in disbelief. He admitted that Xiandao was strong, but that was it. The old monk had the confidence that he could count the number of people who could kill him in the 10 lands with just one hand. Moreover, most of them were old and either in hiding or they were waiting for a chance to fly up to the 9 skies. Let me tell you that people who can easily kill me haven't even been born in the 10 lands. The old monk said with gusto. Since you are so confident, then look closely. Xiandao mocked and said calmly. Kang. He placed his fingers together like a sword and stabbed forwards. It formed a sword energy that shot towards the old monk. Although the old monk said such vicious words, he didn't dare to be careless. He focused fully on Xiandao's sword. Hong. At first glance, it was really basic, it was just normal sword energy. This thing can kill me? The old monk burst into laughter. But after taking a second look, his expression froze and his body tightened. Explosion. In that sword energy, he could see endless oceans surging towards him. The waves rumbled and covered the land, trying to completely drown him. The key was that the waves were all made of sword energies. In this singular sword ocean, the waves were all made up of countless numbers of swords. Each drip of ocean water was like an extremely sharp sword that could stab through the skies and part the clouds. Now, the entire sword energy ocean was hidden in this sword thread of sword energy. Terrifying. Extremely terrifying. The old monk finally understood why Xiandao was so confident. It was because the sword was really terrifying. The sword alone could give Xiandao the name of Sword Celestial. Explosion. The sword energy was still rumbling and the old monk was still looking at it. He took in a deep breath and all the energy in his body surged. Golden bell cover. With a dong, a golden bell covered the old monk. A giant golden bell completely protected the old monk. He believed that he could block this sword. But in the next second, an ocean-like amount of sword energy smashed into the defensive bell. Kaka. It didn't give him any chance to react and the golden bell was broken just like that. The sword energy continued forwards and in the old monk's eyes, this was his life and death moment. Dong! 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 13 giant golden bells blocked in front of the old monk. The old monk's face was solemn and his gaze was determined. One golden bell couldn't block it, but what about 13? Kaka! 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 The sword energy continued to strike, and in an instant, all the 13 bells shattered. The old monk was so shocked that his body shook and he tried to dodge. But his body froze. It was because the sword energy had reached the middle of his eyebrows. It turned red and the old monk was so terrified that he didn't move at all. In the old monk's eyes, the sword was so terrifyingly difficult to block. Who knew that one could construct a sword Dao ocean in just one thread of sword energy? Apart from Li Xiandao, there was no one else. The key was that Li Xiandao had succeeded. It was so strong that the old monk trembled. The old monk's heart sunk. He had misjudged the whole thing. His arrogance made him overestimate his own strength. He was so arrogant that he looked down on Li Xiandao. Now that the sword energy had been blocked, the old monk was panting. That arrogance from before had totally disappeared. Don't kill me! The old monk begged. He didn't want to die and he didn't want to play anymore. Li Xiandao was just too terrifying. Wang Wang! Sword energy actually dissipated after he begged. It actually turned into normal sword energy which made the old monk pant. He looked at Li Xiandao in shock. I said that I would kill you 3 times. That was the first time. You still have 2 more times. Li Xiandao said calmly. He didn't let the old monk off because he begged him. The old monk who had died once calmed himself down. But he was still unable to hide the shock. What was that sword called? Overturning the ocean. Li Xiandao said calmly. Overturning the ocean, that is fitting. The old monk nodded his head and said. Now, please receive my second sword, Withering Flame. Li Xiandao raised his finger sword and pointed it at the old monk. The old monk's expression changed. Chapter 224, Fire and Cloud Ocean. Li Xiandao had been training with the priest, war god Zhao Wuji, sword god, and Zhong Baishan to comprehend their Dao attainments and strengthen his own. His cultivation soared after he swallowed the 30,000-year-old dragon vein and his Dao attainments weren't lacking either. If one was too powerful but lacked Dao attainments, one would appear really cumbersome. If one had too many Dao attainments and a lack of cultivation, their soul and body would belong to a different level and that would definitely lead to problems. Fortunately, such a problem didn't happen to Li Xiandao. One could say that he had sucked dry the priest, Zhao Wuji, sword god, and Zhong Baishan's comprehensions at the legend realm. But Li Xiandao was still not satisfied. He was silently cultivating alone and he was fully immersed in comprehension. Overturning the ocean was a sword technique that Li Xiandao had created. It was extremely strong and the old monk comprehended it a short while ago. Li Xiandao also had the Withering Flame skill. It was born at the same time as overturning the ocean and one could say that they were opposed to one another. The two of them weren't able to match with each other but they supported each other. Li Xiandao comprehended many sword moves but now, he only wanted to use Withering Flame. The old monk looked on in fear. He was really arrogant, confident, proud, and all of that had been taken away by Li Xiandao's overturning the ocean. When Li Xiandao pressed down on his forehead, the old monk really thought that he was about to die. If that sword stabbed down, the old monk would definitely die. No one would be able to save him. Fortunately, Li Xiandao let him live. What made him feel sadder was that Li Xiandao had one more move. Withering Flame. Just listening to it, one knew that it was similar to overturning the ocean. The old monk's heart shook and this time he directly sat cross-legged to use a cultivation technique. Golden Body Buddha Technique. The old monk transformed into a golden Buddha statue and stood there. Nothing in the world could taint it and no tribulations were too much for it. He wanted to use this tortoise-like technique to block Li Xiandao's second sword. Li Xiandao looked at it but he didn't care at all. If the move that he created after understanding so many Dao attainments could be blocked by the tortoise shell, then he would lose. Li Xiandao's true chi exploded, turning into a bright, eye-catching flame that merged into the sword. Kang! The sword exited the sheath like an arrow released from the string, there was no way back. Hong! In the next second, Withering Flame shot forward. Different from overturning the ocean's silence, Withering Flame was raging. In terms of age, overturning the ocean was a 40-year-old, middle-aged man that was calm and innate and could explode at any moment. Withering Flame was like a teen who was hot-tempered and looked forward to creating surprises. Explosion. After Withering Flame was used, 9 phoenixes appeared behind the sword energy. They lined up in a row like they were protecting the Withering Flame. Withering Flame seemed really cool and outstanding. In the next second, Withering Flame struck the old monk's tortoise shell. The Golden Body Buddha technique only formed a golden body for him to cultivate and avoid trouble within. Wait. This technique was a really rare one. The rarity was that it had no attack power at all and its defensive ability was really strong. The old monk came prepared. Li Xiandao looked at the tortoise shell like golden body and he laughed coldly, under my sword energy, invincible defense is just a joke. Hong. Withering Flame was like an impulsive kid during puberty wanting to enter his beloved little girl but being blocked by a door. Without any hesitation, Withering Flame smashed into it. You dare to stop me? Then, I shall shatter you. Withering Flame was just so hot-tempered. It was extremely terrifying, drowning the old monk's technique. Kaka. Who cared about how amazing your defense was? Withering Flame wasn't afraid at all. After charging forwards, the flame shattered the golden body. The old monk shivered. He looked at the flaming red sword which was in front of his forehead. This sword pressed on it in the exact same position as overturning the ocean. But the feeling he got was totally different. Overturning the ocean was innate and wouldn't easily injure the people around. But Withering Flame was different. It burned in an unrestrained manner and scorched the old monk's skin. I admit defeat. The old monk couldn't take it and begged. Hong. Withering Flame dissipated. The old monk laid on the ground and panted with a look of despair in his eyes. He looked around at the mess caused after his huge golden body was smashed. The ground around was in pieces. Who are you? I recognize everyone in the 10 lands, but I have never heard of you. The old monk took the precious chance and asked in despair. Li Xiandao said coldly, you only need to know that I am the person who will kill you. The old monk was shocked. He knew that Li Xiandao was determined to kill him and wouldn't let him off. He decided to shatter his treasure beads and the 18 beads flew towards Li Xiandao. The old monk fled. He fled. The old monk understood why he had a 90% chance of dying. He died 9 times and this time, he had managed to flee. Our Buddhist sect has a movement technique that is really quick. The old monk laughed out loud. Since he couldn't kill Li Xiandao, then he would make problems for him. Master, what now? Tian Guangming asked in worry. I will go capture him. Lucifer wiped off his blood and said coldly. No need, I still have my 3rd sword. Li Xiandao shook his head and slashed his final move. Cloud Mountain. This was the 3rd sword that Li Xiandao comprehended. A mountain at the level of clouds, the main point of this sword was to suppress the enemy. It wasn't killing but total suppression. Li Xiandao's sword surged into the sky, causing the clouds in the distance to roll in a majestic manner. The old monk just ran there and saw the turning cloud ocean. His expression changed and he knew that things were bad. Li Xiandao's 3rd sword was here. Li Xiandao let him off previously not because he was a Dalan temple monk, but because Li Xiandao said that he would kill him thrice. Overturning the ocean, Withering Flame, and now this. Cloud Mountain. Explosion. Within the clouds was a huge mountain that pressed down and it didn't give him a chance to react at all. What was the feeling of the sky collapsing? The monk didn't know in the past, but he did now. Peng peng peng. A giant cloud mountain surrounded him and pressed down. The old monk tried to break out but he was unable to. No. The old monk hollered in despair. He probably couldn't imagine that the future was something that could be changed. He was supposed to die at the world barrier. But now, he was being suppressed by a mountain formed from the clouds, smashing him to death. This was Li Xiandao's Cloud Ocean. Chapter 225, Back to Eternal Land. Li Xiandao's 3 sword techniques killed the old monk 3 times. Just as Li Xiandao had said, he hit 3 of his subordinates, so he would kill him thrice. He was going to let him taste death so that he didn't offend the Bank of the Universe in the next life. Master is so amazing. Tian Guangming was filled with respect and he gave a thumbs up. So amazing. Li Wuya was really impressed and filled with awe. This old monk was so invincible and had totally destroyed those on their side. But Li Xiandao arrived and just killed the old monk with just a simple few hits. So strong. Heaven Heart, Li Xiandao, and Moon Angel all walked by Li Xiandao's side and looked at him with respect. Let's go back. This matter is being concluded, so go back and rest up. In a short while, we will return to ancient Buddha land. Li Xiandao said calmly. Understood. They replied. Li Xiandao turned around. His aura was like a sword as it sliced open the world barrier and walked over. Heaven Heart and the others followed behind him and left ancient Buddha land. The world barrier was something that stretched out endlessly and it wasn't something that was even at all intersections. This was why the barriers at some parts could be broken so that one could exit and enter freely. One couldn't do so in other places. Li Xiandao returned to Eternal Land and headed back to Bank of the Universe first. He was really quick, much faster than Tian Guangming and the others. Li Xiandao obviously wouldn't return back so slowly like the rest of them. He would return to the Bank of the Universe first and wait for Tian Guangming and the others to return. At the same time, he could continue to numb Seven so that she wouldn't get suspicious. Li Xiandao felt that he was quite smart. After Li Xiandao returned to the Bank of the Universe, he saw Seven arranging contracts in the trading hall. Li Xiandao stopped and took off his mask. Right as he was about to say something, Seven asked, Master, where are you going? Li Xiandao said calmly, one shouldn't stay in the Bank of the Universe every day, sometimes I want to head out to sightsee too. Seven looked at Li Xiandao suspiciously, I always had a feeling that you were hiding something from me. Li Xiandao's heart jumped but he turned around and calmed himself down. Till now, he had been flawless, and even if Seven suspected something, she wouldn't be able to guess that Li Xiandao was giving her a surprise. Right, you can't head out. Li Xiandao decided to change the topic. If he said too much, then he could have ended up saying something wrong. The less he said, the lower the chance, and if he didn't say anything, then he wouldn't be wrong at all. Li Xiandao was really curious. Seven was the artifact spirit of the Bank of the Universe, so could she go out? Seven shook her head, anyway, you are unable to let me go out. Then, how were you born? Li Xiandao asked curiously. Seven said that she was the Bank of the Universe's artifact spirit and as long as Bank of the Universe existed, then she would. If the Bank of the Universe was destroyed, then she would be too. But evidently, she was different from other artifact spirits. Seven had a physical body. She listened to instructions in the Bank of the Universe and if Li Xiandao didn't give her permission, she wouldn't dare to touch some things. Was that an artifact spirit? Li Xiandao felt like an unlucky girl who was being trapped in the Bank of the Universe. Seven smiled and looked at him, why do you want to know? Li Xiandao coughed and said solemnly, as your boss, your master, naturally I need to understand everything about you and care for my subordinate. Seven's smile was really charming, then, you don't have to worry about that. It isn't time for you to know about how I am born. Li Xiandao said helplessly, okay, I won't ask you about it. When you feel that I have the right to know, then you can tell me. Seven was stunned. She didn't expect Li Xiandao to stop asking even after his curiosity had peaked. You aren't going to ask. Seven was even prepared to lie to bluff Li Xiandao. But Li Xiandao stopped asking. Since you don't want to talk about it, then I won't ask. I won't force others to tell secrets that they don't want to say. Li Xiandao smiled. He was really gentle. Seven exclaimed as she looked at Li Xiandao and muttered, how mushy. Li Xiandao turned around and left the trading hall, you continue to protect your secrets. When you are ready, I am always here to listen. Seven watched as Li Xiandao left, and for some reason, she grinned. She looked at the bunch of contracts and her mood suddenly got much better. Li Xiandao who walked out of the trading hall felt really fortunate, phew. I won't ask her about her secret and I won't say mine. It is so fair. Li Xiandao wanted to know about her background but since she didn't want to talk about it, then he wouldn't ask her about it. Heaven Heart, Lucifer and Moon Angel all returned. They rushed back alone and they were all really quick. Only Tian Guangming and Li Wuya were left far behind. Tian Guangming didn't rush. He would bring Li Wuya to rush every day, and at night, he would cultivate to improve himself. After becoming a master, Tian Guangming became much more responsible. He gave Li Wuya tips every day. Luckily, Li Wuya was really talented. He could instantly comprehend Tian Guangming's words and would even ask many questions which stunned Tian Guangming. In a short few days, Li Wei reached peak foundation realm. When they got close to the bank of the universe, Tian Guangming stopped and said solemnly, "Disciple." "Master." Li Wei said firmly. "Now, I am your master and you are my disciple. But after entering the bank of the universe, you are a guest and I am master's subordinate." Tian Guangming said. Li Wei looked at Tian Guangming in confusion. What did he mean? "I want to tell you that after you enter the bank of the universe, you are about to trade with my master." Tian Guangming was a little annoyed. "I know, I have also thought about what to trade." Li Wei nodded his head and said. "What?" Tian Guangming asked. "Wipe out Dalan Temple." Li Wei gritted his teeth and said. "I also guessed that you wanted that wish. So, how many God Spirit Meridians do you have?" Tian Guangming asked. "My parents left me over 10,000 of them." Li Wei counted and said. "After you trade, then you will leave the Bank of the Universe." "I can't leave it too, so we are about to separate." Tian Guangming said regretfully. This, Li Wei was at a loss. It was with much difficulty that he found a master, but why were they about to separate just like that? "Do you want to leave my side?" Tian Guangming asked. Li Wei shook his head, "No." "Then, it is simple. Just add another condition." Tian Guangming squatted down and muttered in Li Wei's ear. Li Wei nodded and his eyes lit up. "If that is the case, then I don't have to worry about being homeless and I can be with master forever." "Is your master smart?" Tian Guangming said proudly.